All right, what is going on, y'all? It is October 20th. It is Sunday, and it is starting to be a repeat performance from myself week after week after week after week. Now, we've gone through 5 weeks of we're going to do better next week. We're going to do better next week. And right now, I'm just kind of at a loss right now. How y'all doing? It's Steve here joining you guys on Atlanta Bird Game and Grown Folks Sports Talk. A couple of fun things we have going on. And obviously, I know a lot of you have a lot to talk about, which is fine. We have a new YouTube channel, Grown Folks Sports Talk. You guys feel free. We're actually simulcasting on their live. So if you don't get into Facebook as much, you can go to YouTube. And not only that, it'll archive what we talk about today. So just looking forward to just hearing what you guys talked about. I waited for a little bit before I came on. I did because I wanted to hear Dan Quinn's press conference. I listened to his press conference a few minutes ago, and obviously he's dead man walking right now. I don't know how else to put it. I was there. I'll talk about the atmosphere in a little bit, but now you're getting to a point where, yeah, that's just embarrassing. You can't do that. You can't. So anyway, we're going to be live on YouTube. Check us out on YouTube. You can see what we talk about here and what we talk about in the previous shows. You can also, if you look down, you'll also see a phone number, 1-866-DJ-STEVE. I will start taking phone calls now. We're going to try this and see what happens. So don't get upset if it ends up being some radio show-ish type stuff where you might call me 3,000 times and not get the answer. I'm not going to change the format of how we do things, but I would like to hear if there are different perspectives, because my perspective right now is you can't have this man keep his job past 9:00 tonight. You cannot. The product today on that field was, for me, it's bad, just poor. And not only the atmosphere, but this is still a stadium that has, nuances and things that people haven't even discovered. I just saw the high school thing today with the helmets. I went with my daughter the first time she's gone to a game, and I wasn't even able to enjoy it because of the product that we're putting on the field right now. And that is squarely right now on our coach. And if he is there past 9:00 tonight, I'm sorry, y'all. We're making the wrong decision. I don't know whether Arthur Blank calls himself is going to wait until the bye week. The bye week is gone. We can't play with this anymore. We can't. That's embarrassing. That's an embarrassing showing today. I was embarrassed to be a Falcon fan. I was embarrassed to ride down the highway today. I'm still a Falcon fan, don't get me wrong, and I know some of you are too, but how much are we going to take? That's just ridiculous. So anyway, we're going to try a couple of new things, but let everybody come in. How y'all doing? Montoya said there are no words. There are not, young lady. There are not. Jalen, Quinn needs to be fired. Jalen, you're playing obvious with us, brother. Come on, man. That's the most obvious thing in the world. Rodney, the only good thing is that we can only get better. I don't think we can get any worse. We can. I've been saying that for the last 2 weeks. I stand corrected. We can get worse. By far, that's the worst game we played. I thought it was Houston. It was not. At least we scored. I thought it was Tennessee. I don't know. The defense played a little bit better. Defense actually wasn't bad in the first half. We'll get to that later on. Tidy says, "What's up, John?" And this is not John Tidy. So you need to stop drinking because I know you're probably drinking already. Corliss, good evening, Steve. Have a blessed rest of the day, Sunday. Yeah, man, I'm trying to, man. Yeah, see, I caught you, Tiny. I got you, buddy. Michael says, hope everyone is well. I've been watching this garbage a long time, and Blank just gave a dreaded vote of confidence. DQ will be gone soon. I worry out loud about these first 7 games. Yeah, he's gone. There is no way possible he survives after that. I don't care if you've put up 50 on Seattle and they score 0, which isn't going to happen. No way. Absolutely no way. Sean, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you, Sean. I've been checking out your videos, too. I see some of that music you got. I got to check you out when I get an off day, and you already know how that is. Say, time to play the second string. Need to see if there are hungry players. I'm in that boat right now. Bobby, how you doing, buddy? He will, though, like I told folks, we lost the team, but we'll take it to the bye week to find another coach. Trey Day says, why not fire him now? It won't make us any better. Fire Matt Ryan. I won't get the Matt Ryan thing in a second. Bobby D says the 53-man roster needs to go to Dan Quinn, not on the field with the 11 to give heart. They don't have heart. I hear y'all about heart. Let's see. Bernard. Ooh, y'all coming fast and furious. I'm trying to keep up, y'all. Let's be patient with me. Montoya said, did he finish? Look like he just walked out. He did. Montoya, you were probably watching the same thing I was. I was waiting to see. And not that he shouldn't be dejected, but he looked like somebody stole his puppy or Arthur Blank came in there and dressed him down. Or Arthur Blank may have already told him, yeah, dude, you're gone. I cannot have fans and a 60% capacity fans in the stand. I can't have the 60% of people who are coming to show up watch this product. It's unwatchable. At least Washington and Miami have been, well, at least they've kind of given hints to tell you they're starting over. This was not supposed to be the year. I keep thinking about the hype of this year, the free agent signings, the offensive line supposed to get better. The defense under Quinn was going to be more aggressive, and we put in there, we haven't touched the quarterback yet. Aside of one point where we sacked the quarterback and they called a penalty, which is BS, but that's a whole nother story. Let me get down here a little bit, and then I'm going to catch up. Bernard, DQ should be fired when we wake up in the morning. Why wait? Andre, so to start off, we need to free up money, get rid of Vic, Trufant. Okay, and here's my thing on Vic, and I hear y'all about getting Vic. Who's going to take him? Dude is garbage. Who is going to take Vic Beasley? Y'all acting like we going to get a king's ransom for him. Beasley is playing like straight poop. Nobody's going to pick him up. It's crazy. Henry says Quinn cannot be the coach next week. He can't, Henry. He can't. You can't come into that dome next week with Dan Quinn. And you're talking about somebody who has supported him, somebody who's going to bat for him as recently as 2 to 3 weeks ago, saying, it's early in the season and whatever. But one of the guys, Montoya, I know you were listening to the press conference, one of the reporters asking him, it seems like the team is getting worse. It is. It's not a seems. We're getting worse. Thought the Indy game was bad. And we did come back in the Indy game. And then there was Tennessee. And you thought that was bad. And then there was Houston. And you thought that was bad. And then there was Arizona. And you thought that was bad. But I mean, it's getting worse and worse, y'all. I got a call over here already. Corey's already calling me right now. to be on the phone. Corey, how you doing, buddy?
Doing good, man. What's up?
None much. Dude, I'm sitting here right now just trying to break this down. Just tell me your PG-rated thoughts on what you saw today. And I'm just trying to see if we're on the same page about what's going on. And I'm going to let you have the mic for the next 30 to 45 seconds.
Oh, I just think that was pretty embarrassing. I didn't like that we only scored 3 points in the first half. Maybe we could have done a little better than that. But we do need to do something with Dan Quinn. It doesn't seem we were going to be lost on those games back like that. And rather being blown out is really not good. So we need to do something with Dan Quinn. And it's going to happen from
Do you think from what you saw today, and I don't know whether you were there or whether you were at home.
Yeah, I was at home.
You were at home. So let me ask you a question, and I can't get that. Obviously, when you're there, you're not getting the vibe. What was your vibe from what you could hear on TV? Could you hear the fans on TV? Could you hear anything?
It wasn't allowed the stadium. It wasn't really loud, and people were just sitting there. From what I heard, it wasn't allowed the stadium. No.
So that's going to be, and Corey, you are the man, and thank you for being the first call. I'm going to ask you this question before I let you go and move on to the next person. I'm going to ask you flat out, Dan Quinn fired today or no?
Yeah, fired today.
Fired today. Corey, thank you so much. I appreciate you being the first caller, brother. Keep calling me, and we're going to keep it up. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Y'all can do the same thing. 1-866 DJ Steve. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Let me get up with some of these comments already we got on Facebook. Y'all have been coming fast and furious. I appreciate y'all. Let me get down here. Gregory says, I love my birds. We ain't been bad in a long time. It's just time for a change. Go offensive-minded head coach, hire DC. Get back into the winning fold. Sincerely true fans. I feel you, Gregory. Marquise says Aaron Donald was out of his pads like 5 minutes before the game actually ended. Raytina says this is hurtful. It is, Raytina. It is. Jalen, Lincoln Riley, ASAP. Make him an offer he can't refuse. He's going to finish the year out because he's getting ready to go for that national championship. But that's somebody you got to think about. You do. Desmond, Falcons should have went up-tempo offense early in the game, just like the Rams did. Philip, he's going to make the entire season. I don't think so, Philip. I don't. Julie, how are you, young lady? Somebody said Matt is out for 4 weeks. They said he was in a walking boot, and that's never a good thing. But you know what, Julie, at this point, that's pretty bad. And let me say something right quick while we're talking about Matt Ryan. And I know that's a touchy thing when we start talking about, is it his fault? Is it not his fault? Is he getting paid too much? Is he an elite quarterback? Is he not good? Is he not good? Let me tell y'all something. When that man got hurt, and it wasn't everybody, but there was a collective part of folks that started cheering. And I don't care if it's the fifth string quarterback. Y'all cut that mess out. I mean, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard when people start talking about our quarterback like that. Hold tight for 1 second, caller. And just to sit there and attempt to dump on a man when he's getting crushed because McGarry can't contain Fowler all day. And all of a sudden, now it's Matt Ryan's total fault. Did he throw balls behind people? Absolutely. But I'd be dang if I'm going to sit there and watch somebody cheer him get hurt. That's ridiculous. Call, I apologize, man. Say who you are and let us know what you got, buddy.
Michael Anderson. No sacks at all. That's our problem.
None.
We can't get to the quarterback.
Man. Michael, how frustrating is that to see? And listen, dude, Goff was back there bouncing like he was on a trampoline, excited that he could get to his fourth progression. How frustrating is that your number one person from Clemson, your number one person from UCLA can't get a touch on them?
That's the problem. You ain't put no pressure on the quarterback. You can play Little League and they'll eat you alive. You can't get no pressure on them.
I mean, it's crazy. And so Michael, so obviously you're talking about the defensive line. Tell me what you thought about on the other side of the ball. Tell me what you thought about the offensive line.
Offensive line playing fully, and you won't use your third string. You won't use your running back, but now you got to because both of them gone. You should have been using all four running backs.
Michael, why is Allison, in your opinion, and we don't know, obviously we're not inside, why do you think he's not on the field?
He's just, for somebody else's reason, for the other three in front of him, y'all like they playing buddy ball.
But you're 1-6. Dude, you're 1-6. You know what? If they came on the field today and had Allison in the back, had Gage on one side, and I don't know, not Justin Hardy. What's the guy from Virginia, Zacharias? If they had those two at wide out, at least you can say they're trying something new. It's frustrating to see them try the same crap over and over again, and it's not working.
We predictable. We are predictable. But now you got to play with your backup.
I mean,
been doing it.
That's crazy. You're right. You got to play with your backup. And Michael, thank you so much. I'm going to ask you the same question I asked my man right before he left. Dan Quinn, today, not tomorrow, not next week. Fired or last another week?
He should have been fired when he walked out the locker room.
And you know what? The way that press conference was done, he might have got fired. Brother, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us on today. Again, 1-800-DJ Steve. We're going to take calls. And I see your comments, y'all. I am rolling through. I'm used to talking to y'all and let your comments. Lynn says, I've never felt the way I did at this game. Lynn, I think you would, if you were there, Lynn, I feel your pain. It was crazy. I sent out a post when I was there and I was telling people the biggest pop of the game, the biggest ovation of the game was when they started playing Michael Jackson in between one of the breaks and Chris Tucker came out there and started dancing. And they put him on the big screen. That was the loudest the home crowd got today. And I wish I was exaggerating. Trey, they say a walking boot is a great thing. I know. I get you, man. I don't want to, I know there's sarcasm here and there. I can't get there. I cannot sit here and just dog a person when they get hurt. That stuff is serious. That's serious business. I know Matt has been up and down. Today was down. Today, Matt was throwing behind people. He wasn't feeling comfortable. And even a couple of times when he did have time, Matt wasn't hitting everybody on point. I understand that. But I never root for anybody to get hurt. I don't. Marquis said, according to reports, fans were screaming into the tunnel, we want our money back. They probably were. Nate, second strings are in this year, ready to see the difference. Matt Schaub could make the couple he had throws look good. Okay, before y'all even attempt to try to say Matt Schaub, I would rather you throw the little cat from New England out there, Etling, who we got from, look, Matt Schaub, bless your heart. Matt Schaub is not going to turn this thing around. You need, I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I don't. Tidy, nobody want Vic and the rest of that atrocious salary. That's my point. I mean, now at this point, Tidy, I think it's like a half thing. I'm not sure if they would be responsible for his whole contract, but dude, if you pay $2 million for Beasley, you overpaid. Without a doubt. Gregory, 266 plays on defense without a sack. That's ridiculous. That's an unheard of number. Bernard, I'll take a 7th round pick for Beasley at this point. Dude, if somebody give it to you, you might want to take it. Philip, a 314 would take Beasley. I said forever, he is not at the end. Dexter, The Buffalo Bills offered a 20-piece lemon pepper for Vic Beasley. Is it with blue cheese? If it is, I'll take it. Jermaine, Vic Beasley is too soft, and he's lighting the behind. I hear you. Desmond, Falcons dropped the ball on the draft, and it's showing. Andre, I heard Dungy say he would coach again. I would pay him a king's ransom and get him here. Now he will take Ryan to the next level and get us a ring. Now, if he said he was coming, I'm not gonna lie to you. I would take Tony Dungy. I would have to see that to believe it. Andre, also Vic is not bad. We keep putting him out of position. He is an end that needs to play there, not dropping back in coverage or anything. David, Vic Beasley was covering Todd Gurley out of the backfield. That's all you need to know about the scheme coaching of Dan Quinn. And I'm starting to believe that may be true. Maybe Dan Quinn is not using them right. Montoya, I heard booing from the fans at halftime. Oh, of course it was, Montoya. It was absolute booing at halftime. Absolute booing. Michael, give me a football man at GM with a plan and a coach with head coach experience, hiring practice, or giving dudes zero head coaching experience, and final say on everything has to stop. Give Tomlin or Belichick a percentage of a franchise to take it over, and half kidding there. Yeah, because Tomlin, let me tell y'all something. Tomlin has kind of lost his team too. Don't get me wrong. Injuries have hit, but he lost 3 of his main guys, and I think 2 of them because he's kind of lost that locker room. Even though they're playing 4 people, they're continuing to battle, but I'm not in that boat to go down that road. Julie say I'm sad. I hear you, Julie. We give each other a virtual hug. I hear you. Desmond, Arthur Blank is a soft owner, period. I think there were good intentions this year. I'm not going to sit here and try to pretend like I wasn't on board with all the moves we were trying to make, all the things we said we were going to do. I am not trying to tell y'all all of a sudden in week 7 or 8 that they were trash from the beginning. I was as optimistic as the next person. But at some point in the season, when you're 1-6 and you're in that crowd at home and you see the 3 performances you had, Philadelphia, which I told somebody 3 or 4 weeks ago, they were saying, oh, that was a lucky win, whatever. You know what? Maybe it was lucky, but good that we did it. But the 2 home games we played since then were garbage. Tennessee came in here. Tennessee, who has just benched their starting quarterback. And this Rams team who all of a sudden have found themselves again. Just absolutely ridiculous. Twan, what's going on, buddy? I'm at a loss for words right now. I really have nothing to say. It's rough right now. And as much as everybody's saying fire Dan Quinn, get rid of the GM, blah, 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 these are words we've heard before. And as my man said, he's calling Arthur soft, and that's between him and, whatever. But Arthur Blank at some point, and I know they showed him, I saw something when I came home, and they showed his dejected face on the sideline. At some point, Arthur has to make a decision. And maybe he calls himself waiting until the end of the bye week next week, maybe. But the way Dan Quinn looked at that press conference, and I know he's upset for losing too, that Arthur might have took him to the woodshed. He may have. Reggie says, very frustrating. Desmond, we don't blitz. Demetrius, he said the same thing about Mike Smith right up until he got fired him the very next morning. Oh, yeah. Don't worry about we have faith in Dan Quinn. He's our coach. Yeah, don't worry about that. You can make a decision just like that. Yeah, don't worry about that. Like my man said, that dreaded vote of confidence. Why did they draft Allison and not even play? I'm sure you meant not even play him. I don't know, Reggie. One of my main things I've been asking. Marcario, what's going on? It's sad to not be excited about watching your team play. That statement alone for a Falcon fan is that encapsulates so much of what I feel right now. It's sad not to be excited about watching your own team play. It's almost like when they went and drove and scored that 3 points and then the Rams came back, as a fan, instead of saying, oh, yeah, we're about to stop them, we're now at a point where we're a fan saying, oh, it's about to unravel. Here it comes. And that's not a good place to be. It's not. Tell me my favorite guy, Jimmy, said, I hear you. That's sad, but if that was the loudest time, absolutely. Kevin says, I've been watching my Falcons since they played at Fulton County Stadium, and I can honestly say they had fight back then, even though they didn't have the core they have now. Just sad. Very, very observant, Kevin. It does seem like the guys are just not playing. They're not. They're not playing right now. And you must. If they were losing by a field goal, if they were losing by last second misses or something like that, speaking of misses, Matt Bryant, a lot of y'all wanted Matt Bryant. Y'all were sitting there, Tavecchio or whatever his name was, he missed 2 field goals. Matt Bryant, the greatest in the world, Matt Bryant. Be careful what you wish for. But you cannot go into another game under Dan Quinn right now. You can't. And as a fan who is going to be at the Seattle game next week, I can't stomach this. Dude, y'all thought the Rams was, and keep it real. Keep it 100. And I'm not saying these things because I'm so pro-Falcon. The Rams are not the best team we played this year. I still think right now the best overall team that we played this year might be Houston, followed by Minnesota. The Rams were great against us, but the Rams are not. Goff was not totally solid today. He was okay, but that's even the more frustrating thing. We couldn't even take advantage of that. And I think when things like that happen, the referees even notice. The bogus call on the, what they call it, unnecessary roughness on golf. When you're a bad team, dude, referees say what they want to say. That stuff gets in their head. Oh, they're being desperate. And I'm going to get into Devonta in a second. Ridiculous. Man, he got sacked 2 times back-to-back plays. That's why he was so uncomfortable. Yeah, McGarry, I gave McGarry like 2 thumbs up against J.J. Watt for sticking up to him last week. McGarry was garbage today. And that's going to happen with a rookie, y'all. It's going to happen. It's going to be up and down. Fowler treated him like his stepchild today. And I shouldn't say stepchild. That's wrong. He treated him like a bully today. He treated him like his enemy today. It was horrible. Odolph, what's going on? I don't think firing the coach would change the culture of his team right now. My question to you is, if we get a new coach next year, do you think it would be a young-minded coach with a completely different offensive scheme? And would Matt fit into his scheme, or do the new coach come in here and draft a quarterback that fits his scheme? The end of what you said, okay, and that depends where Arthur wants to go. Is this team veteran-laden enough to where we're ready to ride with the young coach? If we are, then Matt will probably not be here. I'm just telling you. I'm sitting back and forth looking at this Chicago-New Orleans game. Imagine if Chicago had Matt Ryan on that team. And as much as we dog out Matt Ryan or whatever, if Matt had that defense backing him up, they don't need Matt to put up 400 yards like he's been doing with us. They just need you to be a little efficient. And his offense, the Chicago offensive line is not that bad. Think about what they could do. Now, on the other flip side, Odolph, if you have a veteran coach, like say Tony Dungy, or I don't know, Mike Tomlin or somebody like that. And I really I say it Mike Tomlin only because people keep mentioning him. I don't think he's the right fit for here. I know for obvious reasons he would go over well here. But if you brought a new coach that was a little bit more of a veteran type guy that's been through this league a little bit, then you keep Matt Ryan. That's just my thought. Desmond, he played against backups. Yeah, you're talking about Schaub. Absolutely he did. And I'm sorry, I just skipped all the way down here. Johnny, how you doing? Johnny Lasado. They don't understand, Mr. Johnson. John, I know. John J. Dub, the whole team and saw Phillip. A team would be responsible for the remaining checks for Vic. Absolutely, they would. Corey say, and thanks for calling, Corey. Dan Quinn can't be DC and head coach. Actually, Corey, he can't be either for us right now. He really can't. It's just bad. Jimmy said, Quinn got to go. I'll take up a church offering, GoFundMe, and make a wish, whatever, to get his butt gone. John says, can't keep blaming Vic for this dumps. Nobody's blaming him, but it would be nice if he would show up. Let me tell you something. It is hard for me to keep giving praise to Grady Jarrett. Grady Jarrett, if y'all kind of watch it, he missed a couple of tackles, so I'm not saying he's perfect. But Grady Jarrett, man, that motor, look at his motor, man. That dude got some motor. And Dion, same deal there. Flying around the field, missed a couple of tackles, but at least I see him flying. At least I see him still moving. And it's discouraging to me when you don't get an opportunity to surround those cats with like-minded folks. I'm starting to think that Super Bowl year was so full of rookies and first-year guys. And remember the Brian Pools and even Jalen Collins and guys like that who didn't know any better. And they said, you know what? We might have an opportunity to do this. And once they started, I think Dan Quinn had their head that year. And every year since, except 2017, we can't throw 2017 out because their defense was actually good. But something between 2018 and now has not registered. And while it's not registered, you need to cut bait now. Do y'all realize, even with 2 playoff seasons behind him right now, Dan Quinn is not a winning coach? Y'all do realize that, right? Go check it out. He's not. Jalen, Rams had 5 sacks today, and we had 5 sacks all season. And Fowler probably had 3 or 4 of them. Phillip says Lewis Riddick for GM and Kubiak for head coach. We tried to get Kubiak. Kubiak didn't. It was something blocking him. Y'all going to have to remind me of that. I think if Kubiak really wanted to be here, he would have been here. Lewis Riddick is not a bad idea. Buffalo offered 2 flat tires, used the radiator, and 266 pick in last round for Vic. Yeah. Montoya, everyone finds themselves against us. Yep, they do. We do. Rams was struggling. Guess what? Go to the doctor. What do? Take 2 pills and play the Falcons. That's what they do. Lisa, how are you? I know you heard. That sentiment as a lifelong Falcon fan has me feeling totally empty right now. We've imploded and we have nowhere else to go. It's up to Mr. Blank to give the answers on what's next for this franchise. And Lisa, it's important for him to give the fans the thought that you're trying to change. I'm going to tell you what it is right now as Falcon fans, period. As you talk about where we're at in the halfway point of the season. This season is lost. I need an owner who's going to say, you know what? This is a lost season. I need you as fans to realize I'm looking at this and evaluating this every day. And I cannot sit back and let my fans boo me, boo my team, boo my coach, and think that everything's okay. You cannot do that. And if you continue to do that, you're going to lose the few fans you still have left. I really believe that. So I'm hoping that, listen, I don't know what was said to I don't know what was said to Dan Quinn today. I think something was said to him today. If you guys go back and look at the press conference, go look at him. That looked like a dude that might have been taken to the woodshed and might have been told to put his house on the market. I don't know. Demetrius says teams pull off all their trick plays against the Falcons. They use us as practice dummies because we're undisciplined. When you have an undisciplined team, you can do that. You're absolutely right about the trick plays. David Dub, they look lost, no identity or nothing. We need change on and off the field. Exactly. You're singing my song. That's what I'm saying. Philip, Seattle about to drag them around next week. Let me tell you what they're doing. Seattle, Russell Wilson, he doing like this. He's saying, Sierra, where that barbecue place you were talking about? Because I think this game going to be over in the third quarter. Show me where that is. Where that Bankhead seafood you were talking about? Because Seattle about to come in here and tow us up. Tony said, enough talking. I hear you, Tony. But here's the thing, too, though, Tony. What do y'all expect him to say? It's not like Dan Quinn going to come up there and tell you, yeah, I've given up. Season's over with. I know I'm dead man walking. I mean, the man's going to tell you he's still trying. But I think in his heart of hearts, he knows he's lost his team. Orion says, we make opposing teams look like superstars. Vicario, last 3 or 4 games, been down by 17. Third quarter, that's how much of an odd number is that? Tony said, how do I join this thing? You know what? You need to send me a messenger request, Tony, because I can't even be your friend on your thing. So somehow through your messenger, send me a message through my messenger. Send me something through my messenger, Tony, and I'll get y'all. Gregory, we only 1 win away from sharing a boat with Miami. 1 damn win. This is the thing, though. Here's the thing with Miami. Miami told you from their moves earlier this year that they were done. And they have a spanking new head coach. That's a different situation than what we got here. Right? We have here a veteran coach who's won 3 playoff games, and you can't even get the team to perform against a 1-3-1 team in Arizona last week. And Arizona won their second in a row this week. Daniel, how you doing, man? Rise up, and it's been confirmed that Quinn will be fired at some point. The point needs to be now. Matt isn't the issue. He isn't. Tony said we on the new jump off. Bernard, what's going on, Bernard? I was just about to say the same thing, Ryan, to Chicago. Tony, wait, who's going to take $100 million contract for a 35-year-old quarterback? Somebody who can win the Super Bowl now. Tony, if Matt Ryan went to Chicago right now, and I'm not suggesting that he does right now, but if he did, dude, they don't need Joe Montana. They don't need Tom Brady. They just need somebody who can complete a pass. Trubisky is garbage. And he should have been gone last year. I'm pretty shocked that they stayed with him. They're struggling against a New Orleans team who their defense is tight. But come on, man. That defense Chicago has, and you can't give them any support on the other side. Oh, Chicago would eat him a lot. They would grab that trade in a heartbeat. They would take that contract. Now, the only thing, Tony, I know they probably can't because they pay a lot of people. Jonathan, how you doing, buddy? I think the season is over. Yeah, it is, Jonathan. You know I still wave the flag high, man, but it's just tough. Rusty, how you doing? Why no timeout on that fake punt? That alone should get DQ fired. That was a crucial point in the game that took the energy away from what it absolutely did because the defense had stopped it. And let me tell you something about a bad team. If you're a decent team, you know already the slump, the bad posture on the other team. When I saw that ball close to the 50-yard line, the first thing I said before he got out there, and I was with my little girl this time, so obviously talking to her, she was more excited about what was going on around. But in my mind, I sat there and said, that dude does fake punts. And when he went up into that, the mere fact that it took 3 seconds for him to get up there, Dan Quinn should have immediately called timeout. Immediately. We sitting there waiting for the play to happen. And their 4th string wide receiver gets a first down. Absolutely ridiculous. Montoya, Tomlin is losing right now and showing signs of locker room issues. Again, Montoya, Mike Tomlin is not right now in great standing. Now, Mike Tomlin could be somebody who could use a change of scenery, possibly. But yeah, when everybody throws his name up, I'm saying to myself, he ain't doing that great. Jarvis says fire DQ and TD. Well, they're going to come as a package group because I think TD, the only reason Dimitroff is still here is because Dan Quinn let him stay around. Remember who's making the personnel decisions. Keelan, how you doing? How has any offensive lineman got any holding penalties against Beasley or Tack? I don't think so. I mean, listen, y'all. We've been given to Karras a lot of passes. It's time to start saying Vic and Tack. Both of those guys have not been doing the job. I keep hearing the Vic thing, but Tack is not doing what he's doing. Everybody was so fired up. Oh, look at him. He got some dog in him. He got some crazy in him. He got some this in him. And it hadn't resulted in anything more. Just like we did with Vic, we got excited when Tack got about 8 sacks the one year, and Tack has been MIA. And I ain't talking about Miami. Calvin, what's up, man? How you doing, brother? Thank you. I appreciate that. Tony, Falcons are solely responsible for Vic contract, whether he is released or traded to another team. Team wouldn't pay 100%, but may pay some of it. I think they pay some of it, though, Tony. I think they pay some of it. Yeah, the Falcons, remember now, those checks are week to week. I think the other team would pick up his checks. Now, I could be wrong. Now, bonuses, I think, are different, and I'm going to have to go back and do my research. That little sports track thing, they actually had a little section that told you about whether when a player gets traded, what the new team is responsible for. Now, because Vic right now is on a 5th-year option, it's not like they're paying him any bonuses. It's a straight salary. So I think they would be responsible for the rest of the salary for the rest of the year. So to your point, who wants to take that big salary? I know I would. Jackie, how you doing, man? You can't see it on DQ's face. He don't know what to do. Sorry, but he's got to do. You saw it on his face. You saw it. He is lost. He is absolutely lost. Andre, I know it won't happen, but what do you think hard like a Bill Cowher could do with his team? Bill Cowher might be okay. I think Bill Cowher might be in that Tony Dungy thing, though. They might enjoy what they're doing. Somebody brought up Brian Billick's name. Brian Billick might not be a bad dude. Elway's locked Kubiak up. Absolutely. Yeah, he's not letting him go. Jalen Brett, Denver blocked Kubiak. And I thought I did. I hadn't even seen y'all comments. But remember, we tried to get Kubiak early in the year. I don't think y'all remember that. Some of y'all might not remember that. Daniel, if we pick top 5, we're going to go edge rusher, Chase Young out of OSU. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I heard about him. He's pretty good. But a sleeper for our head coach spot is Chuck Pagano. A lot of people say Bruce Arians was the man behind that team when Chuck Pagano was doing his thing with the coach. A lot of folks said that. We probably should have got him. Glenn, what's going on, buddy? Atlanta will not get a black coach. Let's get real. You know what? That's not true. I don't believe that, Glenn. I think they'll get anybody in here who has a track record of winning. I think they will get anybody in here who can win. You better not be looking for race, all that stuff if you're trying to win. At this point, all that is nonsense. You need somebody who's going to come in here and win. And if he black, he's black. If he Asian, he Asian. Indian, I don't care what he is. If he can win a football game, bring him in here for an interview. And let's see what you got. I disagree. Daniel, we're only trying to trade Beasley, Trufant, and Sanu. Again, Sanu might be the only person out of that trio that you actually might get some work for. Because right now, Sanu's getting wasted. He's getting wasted. Philip, no, they offered the OC job to Kubiak, not head coach. Nobody said head coach. OC. If I slipped and said head coach, that's what I'm talking about. OC. Lee Payne, I think it's time to blow it up. What do you think? And when you say blow it up, man, listen. Look, Grady, Debo. Listen, there's a couple of people on the defense that I may keep, maybe. Still think Sheffield is good. I still think KZ is good. Have they been having the greatest games? I'm not sure, but we'll see. I'm just not sure how that's going to work. I got another caller here. Caller, what's your name? And tell us what you got.
Hey, Steve. This is Steven right here.
Hey, buddy. How you doing, man?
Hey, man, I'm doing good, man.
Tell me what you got, man. Just talk to me.
Well, first, this is like, I've been in with so many feelings lately. I'm just talking to another Steve now.
Right.
You're Steve and I'm Steve. My name is Steven as well, so.
Hey, there you go. Well, you got a great name.
So thank you. Thank you. I do appreciate it. That's the good news. The bad news is, I don't know what the hell is up with them lately.
Now, were you at the game or were you at home?
No, I was at home, but I was watching the game on my phone. I mean, 6 months ago, I posted something on Facebook about the draft, and I have stood by my word, and that has just meant it. I have said it. If they draft offense again, this season was going to be done.
So when you look at, give me, and I know there are many, Stephen, give me the one thing that frustrated you more today, and it's plenty of the year. Give me the one thing that frustrated you today about this team.
Man.
I know you got plenty to choose, but give me one.
Dan Quinn. I don't know what is up with Dan Quinn lately. I mean, Dan Quinn, he is like the one thing. I don't want to blame Matt Ryan because all of this, it's not his fault. It's Dan Quinn. Right. I mean, like the one thing that I can just say is, what the fuck is up with him?
Dang. It's tough, man. I mean, I know it's tough, especially for us who are fans. Stephen, you are the man. And I think I know your answer already, but I'm asking everybody. Dan Quinn, to fire today or wait?
Shit, man, I just don't even know right now. I don't even know. It's an either or situation to me. But once again, I'll go back to that draft this year.
Right.
When they drafted offense, I said that was the season was over. The season was automatically over because it is just like last season or worse. When you draft offense, the defense is going to suck. Everything is going to go.
Yeah, I agree. And listen, I think you're sharing the same frustration. Stephen, you are the man. Thank you so much, man, for calling in. I appreciate it. Again, you guys see the number 1866 DJ Steve. Thank you all so much. Like I said with y'all before, try to keep a PC on me a little bit, but I appreciate y'all calling and thank you so much. Get back to some of these comments. And I'm skipping around because I appreciate everybody coming in. Ricky said the locker room is gone. It's been gone, Ricky. It's going to be 60 points that the Seahawks will get. Tony says the only reason Chicago has a stacked defense because the quarterback is in his rookie deal. I agree with that. I agree. So that's probably why they couldn't take Ryan if they want to. Jalen, trade Ryan to Miami for Rosen in the first round. Dude, the mere fact you had me until you said Rosen. Really? You talk about the guy who got picked in the first round last year and still can't lead a team after he got traded to the worst team in the NFL? No, thank you. You had me. Try again, though, Jalen. I'm down with you, but try again. Daniel says, remember when Rex was our first option? When we were in the hiring process with Quinn, he took the Buffalo job and they had a legit defense, just never had an offense. Now they got a quarterback. Let's see if blank goes back to Rex Ryan. But Rex Ryan, I've told y'all before, Rex Ryan is a absolute clown. So I'm not gonna go in his direction. Y'all, I got a blast. I got a blast from my past here. John Harris has decided to call me, and I guess he must be up. He was either drinking or working, but he decided to call. And so, brother, I know I don't have to tell you to express yourself, so the mic is yours.
Good afternoon now.
How you doing, sir?
Let me tell you, after hard, tight work and soft mind, to wake up in the middle of a combination earthquake, train wreck, and flood. Man, let me tell you something. Ain't nothing that'll get your eyes open like the screams of thousands of folks dying all at the same time. Because all I saw of red in my dome.
Oh yeah.
Everybody was totally and completely disgusted by what they saw. Now I just felt getting on live myself dealing with one particular place, and that was the fight.
Right. And I was gonna get to that. I really was. So give me your thoughts on that, and you need to do I need to send you something through here? Or you available on your phone?
Yeah, I'm available. Send me something.
Got it.
You know, I go ahead and talk.
Yeah, because I'm gonna put you on in a second. Let me get you on and let some of these other folks, because you kind of old school. So I'm gonna put you on here in a second. But again, let's talk about that fight, y'all. Let's talk about that fight. Devonta. And what frustrates me about him in that situation is, you know, you have not done much this year. You haven't done much. I'm gonna stop my diatribe for a minute, because one of my favorite people just called. Jimmy, how you feeling, Jimmy?
Another rough week this week.
Jimmy, tell me what you saw. Tell me what you think. What's going on, man? Talk to me.
Well, a couple of things I saw. As I said earlier when I went live myself, the one thing I'm seeing is, as you stated, Quinn, I don't know what he's thinking with the 5-2 scheme, but apparently it's not working, because you're not getting guys home with the blitz. Then when you only rush 3 people, drop 8 in coverage, they're not getting the coverage in the backside. So maybe some of that is why Oliver hasn't developed the way we wanted him to. Maybe that's part of the reason why we can't really get sacks or stop people.
Right.
But I mean, at the end of the day, Quinn has to take accountability for how the defense looks. And I mean, last week me and you talked about this.
Right. Yep.
You stated the defense was going to give up at least 30. And what happened? 30 points at least.
I said it. I said it every week.
And it's like, yes, I understand Matt and them only put up 10 points. But at the end of the day,
realistically, you're asking your offense to put up 30 points or more every week. The defense gives up 30 without excusing how the defense is playing. So the common denominator here is what?
Yeah.
They're eventually going to have to either get it together or they're just going to have to get going. And I mean, I've been saying this for week after week. If Quinn doesn't go, the only thing Arthur Blank is going to realize is the fans are going to either A, still show up and try to support him, or they're just going to stop coming. And I mean, with other thing that plays right in your building that is still in the midst of winning every year, it's going to start play on him to actually make a decision. So,
Jimmy, today, I don't know if you went to the game or not, but I went to the game tonight. So to your point about the fans not showing up, to me as an owner, and I don't care how much money I'm making, if I'm getting into a business like the NFL, I'm getting into that business whether my team is struggling or not, to put a product on the field where at least the fans will be there to support. I'm telling people right now, this is not a product I want to support the Falcons. I do. But I can't do it. And I'm listening to you talk. Is that where you are as a Falcon fan right now? And you sound like a staunch Falcon fan. If you had Arthur Blank's ear this second, tell me what you would tell him.
I mean, I would honestly tell him. I hate to say this, Arthur, but I got free tickets to the game next week and don't even want to take the drive to watch a game that I'm going to see for free. That I got tickets for.
Right.
And I mean, that should weigh on him to hear a fan say that. I mean, yes.
Right.
At the end of the day, you know, like you stated earlier, Cleveland, yes, they were losing, went 0-16. But even when they went 0-16, people remember they had fun with it, threw their team up a race for going 0-16. Because even going 0-16, they still were there cheering them week after week, supporting their team because they knew, hey, something over the horizon was going to come. And I mean, yes, Baker Mayfield may not be the option, but have you seen how much better Cleveland has gotten over the year?
Absolutely.
I mean,
absolutely. And
the same team no more.
Absolutely. And I agree with it, Jimmy. And Jimmy, you are the man. I appreciate you. I'm going to leave you with the same question I'm asking everybody. At the end of the day, if it was your decision right now, Dan Quinn gone by 9 o'clock tonight, or do we wait it out?
Oh, Dan Quinn would be fired before Sunday Night Football.
and that's my thing, Jimmy. You are the man. Thank you so much. Again, I'm trying to tell people that stench is something real. And John, I'm trying to see if you can hear me, my friend. Can you hear me? Okay, perfect. I'm trying to see if I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I hear you, my friend. I hear you. How you doing, buddy? How you doing?
I know this is old school, but this is the only thing that I can do without having the repercussions tomorrow when I be here. Let me tell you, boy.
Now, that's for those of you who are not familiar, John, is that a variation of Angry Puppy or Mad Dog, as you people might say?
It's got some Hebrew on it.
My brother, I'm so happy to see you, man. How you been doing? I apologize. I had to pull you off. I'd rather have you on here today because I wanted to talk about the Devonta thing. And I know you were about to go in it, so I'm about to steal you for about 30 seconds and give you my point and let you go. Not let you release, but I'm saying let you talk about it. So to me, I think that was a release of this whole season. I think that was a release of frustration. The mere fact that you picked on Aaron Donald, too, you pick on the biggest guy. But Harry Douglas, I was listening coming home, and Harry Douglas made a point. It almost reminded me of the Matt Ryan getting you bring it up all the time, Jay. The New Orleans game, maybe 5-6 years. I think you were here watching it with me, weren't you? Was that when you here with that? Okay. So it flashed back to that a little bit. And for about a good, I don't know, 10, 15 seconds, Devonta was out there scrapping. Say what you want to say, but his little 5'7", 8" behind was pulling on his head and swinging. And on the sidelines, it looked like this. Oh, man. Devonta out there swinging. Then all of a sudden, almost like somebody on the sideline said, let's go out there and pretend like we fighting for him. And all 12 of them ran out there on the field. And I'm saying to myself, when you start talking about the brotherhood, which I'm sure after this year is just going to be a word that we start laughing at and things like that. But I felt like that was so staged, that was so phony, that was so unnecessary because now we didn't have a running back for the rest of the game. So tell me what you thought. That was from me looking at home. I mean, at the game. Tell me what you saw from your vantage point.
Now, like I said, I just got off live myself.
Oh, okay.
The third game group, and I guess you're gonna have to take a look at it. I didn't know you were.
I was driving home. Look, hey Jay, quickest drive I've had in a long time. When I say it took me every minute, you know where I stay. So usually that's a 30 to 40 minute drive. And when I say I got home in record time, I got home before the halftime of New Orleans and Chicago. That'll tell you how quick. And we stayed to the end of the game.
Nobody in the way. Shoot, look, man. Let me tell you something. Because see now, the only reason you grab an Aaron Donald is that you thinking you gonna have some help.
Right.
You thinking that your boys got your back.
That's what you thought.
On the offensive side of the ball now,
right.
I ain't talking about the defense coming out there.
Right.
I'm talking about the offensive side. You think your boys got your back.
Nope.
That's the only reason you grab a bear in his den like that.
Right.
And you at home, Steve.
You at home. You at home.
You at home.
Yep.
Now see, Steve, in a situation like that, you done let hold of
Sean, tell me what you think. Right. Sorry about that.
What's going on, man? Talk to me.
I got my volume up too loud. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
I got this thing now. Somebody need to come in and help me pull me off of this all that. You know. Hey, and was nobody there.
Nope. Okay. Not a soul.
That should have happened in that situation.
Not a soul.
The Falcons and the Rams took a tree ring. A ring of Rams, then a ring of Falcons, a ring of other Rams, and another ring of Falcons. It just should have been 105 folks, including the water boy, the head coach, and everybody else out there on that field in that situation.
Oh, but they came, Jay. They came.
You are a brother.
But they came. They came about 40 seconds later after the first couple of, it almost looked like Devonta would do, the old cartoon when the guy's holding the guy and the little guy is swinging like this and he holding his head like that. That's what it looked like.
I mean, yeah. Y'all came later on. And no, the bad part about it, y'all got there right when the official got between Aaron Donald and Devonta, and the official body slammed him on the ground. Now, see, that official would have had some trouble getting up.
Yeah.
I'd have fell on him. You know, hey man, oh, excuse me. Look here, man. Let me tell you something. That lets you know. That lets you know right there,
right,
in plain sight.
Right.
Because guess what? This is going to be shown on ESPN. It's going to
Yep.
be shown tonight
Yep.
on the NFL.
Yep.
Pregame show.
Yep.
It's going to be shown tomorrow when Stephen A. Smith gets it.
Yep.
And everybody in the country is going to see this. And then we back to the Falcons. We're not soft. The Falcons are good stuff. You got to reprove yourself all over again. And guess what? Your divisional rivals are coming after this next week in the bye week, and they're gonna take advantage of that.
I mean,
you know?
but
It should have been at least 12 folks thrown out.
Well, that's the thing. I think that the biggest thing I was trying to say with that situation, that's why the coaching change has to be made. Now, I'm gonna catch up with a couple more comments. Stay with me. Don't go nowhere. Stay with me. Keelan says, I've not missed a home game in several years, maybe in over 20, but I'm thinking of not going to any more this season. See, here's the only thing I'm gonna say about that, Keelan, and I agree. Listen, I can understand people being extremely frustrated, and people are gonna do what they want to do. I'm extremely frustrated with the leadership we have right now. I really am, and the guy whose fault is that is Mr. Quinn, because Quinn is the reason why Dimitroff is still here. Quinn is the reason why we have drafted poorly in areas. We got Grady, and we got a couple of people where he wasn't here, but for the most part, we have definitely not drafted very well. I'm gonna hold tight 1 second, John. I got one caller on here. Caller, please say your name.
Hello, this is Leah J.
Leah J. So Leah J, I think I know your voice, but what do you have to say, young lady?
So I have to say that we may have had a few rough turns and a few down paths, but the cheerleaders are really good, so I have to give some credit to them.
Well, so I appreciate the love for the cheerleaders, and Leah J, did you happen to go to the game today?
Oh yes, I did. Thank you for taking me to the game today.
Well, I mean, Leah J, I'm not supposed to know who you are. So did you enjoy, aside of the football game, did you enjoy yourself?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm going to ask you the same questions as I asked everyone else. What do you think they ought to do with Dan Quinn? Do they ought to fire him, or should he stay for the rest of the season?
I think he should stay. I think the Falcons are just having a little downside.
Okay, well, I appreciate your call, and only for you, caller, I'd say I love you and thank you for calling.
Okay.
I apologize. I am not flirting with the calls. That was my daughter who joined me for the game. That's the first time she's been to the game this year. So y'all forgive me for being a little personal right there. But thank you, Leah. She did actually enjoy herself. My road dog, I think he must have known, that's my son, he must have known that what was coming as far as the results of this game, and decided to stay with his mom and eat barbecue at home, which is great. So we'll figure that out. Daniel says, Steve, the only guy that was over there for Freeman was Jamon Brown. Yeah, I did see one that was over there, but the rest of them came like a New York chorus line, running out there very staged to come out there on the field. Demetrius, how you doing? Nobody is checking for us. We want to get talked about, absolutely. Sheila, how are you? It's disgusting me that nobody on the team came to Freeman's defense. And Sheila, again, go watch, because it was ridiculous that nobody came. They stood there and watched. We have another caller, and I apologize for it. Stay there, Jay. I'm not done with you. Who caller? Yeah. Who we got, caller? I got a caller on. What's your name, buddy?
Hello?
Yeah, what's your name, buddy?
My name is Jeff.
Jeff, how you doing, Jeff? Talk to me, man. What did you see today? What's the most frustrating thing about this team right now?
Well, I didn't see the game because I live in Miami, but I'm a Falcons fan. I'm from Georgia.
Oh, that's cool, brother. No, you're in Miami, so you seeing the worst in a lot of places.
Oh yeah. But I came for the fact there's nothing a kid growing up in Georgia watching the Falcons. We never had a strong defense. We gotta get some thugs there, for lack of better words, that's gonna play some tough defense because these guys, playing his zone and we play soft. Football is an aggressive sport, and we just play soft. I mean, a couple weeks ago we put up 30, 40 points, can't win the game. Put up 35 points in the NFL, you should be able to win.
Absolutely. And Jeff, let me ask you a question, because accountability wise, remember, and if you've been a Falcon fan, remember we drafted Tack, and I think part of the reason we drafted Tack because we thought Vic needed somebody to take the pressure off of him. That's what we thought at the time. We thought Vic was needing somebody else on the other side. Would you not be keeping it real? Wasn't Tack's big signature he was supposed to be this aggressive, kind of wild, uncontrolled dog on the other side? We haven't seen anything from Tack, and Tack has not been getting called out like Vic. When you start talking about pressure, so what do you just say to somebody like me who would tell you that? What do you think?
I'm gonna call the whole defense out.
Yeah.
I don't even know if we had 5 sacks the whole season.
5 sacks, man. 5. That's not a misprint. 5 sacks.
Like this is, this, and I had supposed to be a defensive guy.
Yeah. What? And this is now. Keep in mind too, Jeff. This is 2 straight defensive coaches that you hire. So obviously they think that defense is the thing we need to change. Now this is 2 straight times that defense has been the thing that's let us down. So if you had the general manager's chair right now, if you were sitting in the chair and you had a whole portfolio of people to go through right off the top of your head, who's the first person that comes to mind that you think needs to be offered a job here?
Off the job for Atlanta?
Yes.
I would go out to Pittsburgh folks.
Mike Tomlin. And tell me real quick, why do you think Mike Tomlin over maybe an offensive minded coach who could possibly get a defensive coordinator? Tell me why you would think Mike Tomlin.
I just think Mike is, from looking at him and looking at the city of Atlanta, I just think that the guys, that's what really, click to him, and he can get these guys to. I just think he's a good fit. I honestly think he's a good fit. I think that he can get these guys motivated. When you're making that kind of money, you should need somebody to get you motivated. But I think that he would. I don't know. I just think that he would be a good fit. I would definitely find the general manager.
Well, if Quinn goes, he's gone. He's gone anyway. Because remember, again, people keep forgetting. Dan Quinn kept Dimitroff around. Dimitroff was not going to be part of the regime. He kept him around. Dimitroff, I don't even think makes personnel decisions. It's DQ that makes the personnel decisions. So I guess I don't need to ask you that last question that I've been asking everybody. Fire Quinn today or wait it out for the rest of the season?
I watched his press conference today, and they asked Dan, do he think the season is over? He was like, well, you never want to give up.
Right.
But you got to be realistic.
Yep.
Yep. As a coach, you got to be realistic. I
mean, I will find mistakes.
Yeah.
You know? I will find mistakes and, you know, try to establish the season as much as I could and you know, to let fans know, because you gotta remember, you know, it's more than just the players. You know, I hear people talk about the players that ain't going out, you know, playing, but they gotta realize if you don't have a fan base, then Matt can't get $100 million because you don't have a fan base. And you ask people to come and buy tickets and go to the game.
Right.
It's like, you know, every week you're looking at it, and I come up from Miami once a year to visit the Falcons game. And, you know, that's flight, hotel, everything.
Absolutely.
So, you know, to come there and allow somebody to week in and week out to put up 35, 40 points. I mean, every time the opponents get the ball, it's like they either get the field goal or they point. We don't stop anybody. You know, like
it looks like a bad high school game. It looks like a bad coached high school game. And Jeff, I don't want to cut you off, brother, but thank you so much for calling in tonight. I'm trying to get the other people in, though. You are the man. Hold it down in Miami for me, brother. And thank you so much for calling me, man. I appreciate it. John, I've been letting you hold all day. Get back to one of his points he was making. Mike Tomlin, and I see somebody else kind of mirroring me. I don't know who that was talking to me. Who was that saying about Mike Tomlin? Yeah, Montoya. Why is everyone talk about Mike Tomlin?
Steve.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Let's keep it real. And I don't want to steer this into that, but you know, and I know why we keep saying Mike Tomlin. Y'all thinking a black coach gonna come here to Atlanta, and all of a sudden, because he looks like 70% of the people here in Atlanta, that everybody's going to respond to him and nobody's going to hold him accountable. Let me tell you something. If he comes down here and he's 2-14, y'all going to be even worse than you are against Dan Quinn. So let's stop that nonsense and stereotyping and all that just because you think. I think Tomlin's in the same boat as Dan Quinn right now.
He is. He is.
So go ahead. Go ahead, Jay.
Talking, okay. I had a thought
earlier
this week that after this game, prior to this game, because I thought we had a ghost of a chance, a whisper, a flitter of a chance that we might win.
I did.
However, Quinn needs to swallow his pride and fire his defensive coordinator and bring Brian Cox as defensive coordinator.
Okay.
Now, and if you looking for now I'm more of a bind now to hire an offensive head coach for what it is that you guys were just talking about, because we had two defensive head coaches and both of them, Mike Smith more than Dan Quinn, were too conservative.
Right.
Too conservative.
Right.
Dan Quinn can't even get involved because he doesn't have an offensive bone in his body.
Mm-hmm.
But if you did want to get another defensive coach, that's if you want to get another defensive coach. Singletary, man, look, let me tell you something. Any man who would drop his pants to make a doggone point, I got monster respect for him because of what he did with San Francisco's defense.
That's true. He did do some good things there. He did. Do you think he would relate?
What he did, go ahead.
Do you think he would relate to the 2019 athlete?
No.
Yeah, that's my only thought.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the best thing just about for these people right now.
Right.
Because see that my defense as well as my offense, they've been used to being caught.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody that responds here is talking about how Dan Quinn doesn't get angry, how Dan Quinn doesn't respond, or how Dan Quinn doesn't just go off.
Right.
But Singletary, he ain't got no problem with it. Brian Cox ain't got no problem with it. Matter of fact, you remember what Chauncey was saying, and I'm trying to get in touch with Chauncey to get some more on this particular story that Brian Cox and Shanahan like they got into it, but they got broken up right after the Super Bowl. You remember that?
Oh,
Chauncey
yeah.
saying something about it?
Oh, yeah.
See,
Oh, yeah.
see, the thing is that those types of fiery people, that's the reason that defensive line was so good, man. That's the reason why that defensive line was so good. That was Brian Cox putting his foot in somebody's rear end to make them play the way that he knew they could play. You know? Now, you need that on offense because, see, the over-the-hill game,
Right.
it's past the by, man. It's past the by. And plus the fact, now, Steve, I know he your boy, but good grief.
Look.
Good grief, man. I called out at least 5 NBA centers from the past who couldn't have caught them passes that Matt Ryan was throwing. All over, you know, what area code was the game held in? It looked like the game was held in the 404, the 770, and the 235 all at the same time because passes were going to all these different area codes. I mean, it was just ridiculous, you know.
Right.
And Chauncey made a point because he did a live show just a few minutes ago too.
Right.
Ryan and Julio bought into that Jalen Ramsey thing to where he was going to try to force feed Julio on those comebacks and crossing patterns, things of that sort. But just as soon as Ryan laid it out there for him, Julio made some yards. That when Julio caught, if my quarterback had an arm, that was a touchdown.
Right.
That was a touchdown, man. But I'm going to go into this later on this week, you know, in my film study.
Oh, yeah. The film study has been, and you know, I'm usually at work when I don't get a chance to chime in on your film study. You've been doing some good stuff with that lately. I saw my brother Marcus come in here. Marcus, what's going on? But I caught a little bit of you. I think that was earlier. Listen, we just sitting here trying to talk about what went down today. Again, so many things to talk about, so little time. I did jot down a couple of things, Jay, that I wanted you to reply to what we thought about it. Me and you used to do this during the summertime. And right now we're at the halfway point. We got one more week, but dang it, you might as well do it now because I think the evaluation for this team is pretty jacked up. Anton says Atlanta needs a fire to start. We did that about 100 years ago. That didn't go too well. Jermaine says change the whole organization because it's going to be too much going on right now. Marcus says no more coordinators, need a coach with head coaching experience. And again, that's something that I believe you're going to have to make a big decision about. Remember, as much as everybody's saying trade, it's going to be hard to dump Matt Ryan. I was talking earlier about Chicago. Ideally, they would. Right now, they would love to do that, but they can't afford to do it right now. Not with the money they're paying folks on that defense. They can't afford to make that move. So when you start talking about who you're going to bring in, is it going to be a young coach? Is it going to be a veteran coach? In Jay's case, is it going to be an old school coach that come in here? I'm kind of I have to agree with you, Jay, to a point that I'm not saying Singletary, but it has to be somebody in here that can flip it. Because it can't be somebody that say, I'm going to tweak. Because when you start talking about the facets of this team right now, what part of this team deserves more than a C? At this point, none. I wrote it down. Coaching ability this year, F.
F.
Offensive line,
F.
F. I'm going to get an offensive line a D, and I'm going to tell you why. 2 reasons. What?
Yeah, hey,
I
agree.
I'm going to give it a D, not because, I mean, obviously today they probably got an F, but I'm going to give it a D because it's D with an incomplete. Because you haven't seen Lindstrom yet, and Lindstrom was actually looking decent in preseason. I'm not saying he's going to come in and light the world on fire, but he was slotted as your starting guard. And I would love to see what difference he would make on this offensive line. And the bottom line is we did replace 3 parts. We didn't replace 1. We didn't replace 2. We replaced 3 new parts on this offensive line. I don't care how much experience you have and how much that goes. It takes a while. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm pointing on the left side.
Oh, on the left. Yep. Absolutely.
I got a weak link over here that was supposed to be a strength, but I got a weak link.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. What you talking about? The weak link that had to give up part of their salary this year to get some of that money, right?
No. Pass him.
Oh, pass him.
Him.
Oh.
On that line. I got a weak link on this line.
I got you. I got you.
Him.
Yeah.
That been revealed again to be a weak link. Because Jake Matthews is 2. Jake Matthews today, as well as various times in the past, has looked like Freeman was looking against Aaron Donald. Because folk done had him up in the air, backpedaling, bending like he got 2 stomachs.
Right.
I mean, it's just ridiculous, you know?
Right.
And what did I tell you, Steve?
What'd you tell me,
At
bro?
the beginning of the year about what I wanted on my offensive line.
Yeah.
I want I don't want nothing burning, nothing but number 2 diesel on my offensive line.
Now, McGrady, is McGrady in that category? I'm not talking about results. I'm talking about, is that the body type, though?
No.
No? You say he too what?
He's too light.
McGarry?
He's at 3. Now, for that end spot, yeah, he kind of.
I was about to say, okay, all right.
I'm looking at the center,
Okay.
left tackle,
Right
tackle,
Right.
and the ends.
Okay.
That's what I'm looking at. I need 340.
Yeah.
The center. I need 340 on the other side. Look, you know, I remember back when Dan Hennon was here. Took over.
Yeah.
He had the biggest offensive line in the league.
Right.
Gerald Riggs didn't have no problem.
Yep.
And that brings up something else, Steve, that I didn't see today that I saw last week. Because last week, your offensive line and your running game woke up a little bit.
Right.
Because you had a fullback in there.
Yeah.
I didn't see a fullback.
Yeah, they didn't do the fullback this week. That was kind of interesting to me.
Yeah.
Maybe they used another person over there. I don't understand. Now they did do a lot of 2 tight end today.
See, Steve, that doesn't work. That doesn't work because the thing is, the tight end ain't in the backfield making no hole in front of the running back.
That's true. This is true.
See, that's the thing. True. That's what the fullback is supposed to do. He's supposed to make a hole. If offensive line make a hole, fullback come through that hole, hit the linebacker, your running back is still running.
Right.
You know, but see, the thing is that tight end is just trying to block people to keep them from coming into the backfield on that side. And if the run isn't going that way, what good are they?
And I hear you on the O line. You're absolutely right. Let's go back to the grades. Defensive line.
Steve, incomplete. Why are we rushing 3? Why?
Yeah.
Steve, that's my problem right
there. And let me ask. But you say not why we not rushing three. Let me ask you a question. Why don't we blitz? Why don't we blitz? Just out of curiosity. Why do we not blitz?
I don't understand because everybody blitzing us.
I guess that's my point. I'm saying to myself, when you see that the four you have up front aren't giving what you need to give, and most of the time if we do blitz, we'll show you how predictable we are, it's always the safeties. I've never seen now I could be missing something, and if y'all see it, let me know. But I have never seen us throw any kind of not a lot of stunts, not a lot of we just straight 4-man, and it goes back, Jay, and I know you I don't know if you watched the time we gave Kyler Murray last week. I don't care who you are. If you're a fourth string quarterback and I give you 6 to 8 seconds of a clean pocket, you're going to eat me alive. And today, as much as Goff has struggled for the last 3 weeks, they gave Goff that extra. And let me tell you, Goff was off. I know that rhyme. Yeah. Goff was off today. Goff missed a couple of big opportunities early. Yeah. He missed some big passes that he could have gone right down the field and really done some things. Go ahead.
And let me say this, Steve. Do you remember the Seattle playoff game when back in 2012?
Okay.
When we played Seattle here for our first playoff game.
Right.
And eventually lost to San Francisco. We caught them in jet lag in the first quarter.
Right.
Okay? We caught them in jet lag. We held today, we had the Rams the same way in the first half. There were 3 possessions that we stopped them on. The first, they tried to kick the field goal.
Yeah, and they missed. Absolutely.
And we held them the next 2. We held them the next 2 possessions. And the thing is that that's jet lag. That's jet lag. You need to take advantage of it like you did in the Seattle game because it ended up being a shootout with Seattle, and Seattle came back in the second half. But the thing was, you were in the game because they were missing wide open receivers. Mm-hmm. They were making mistakes.
They were making huge mistakes. Give me 1 second. I'm going to get a couple of folks. I'm going to get a couple of folks' comments in here real quick. Some of my mainstays that came in here. Tobias, I'm embarrassed to be a fan. Damn shame. Guy on the right got the situation wrong. I guess he's talking about you. And I love him, but I got to keep it 100. You got the wrong. Anton said you got the wrong lineup. Murphy, I want to know why we play zone coverage all the time. Did y'all see when Gurley scored a touchdown? Who was covering him? Beasley. Why? That's the Dan Quinn thing. DeVoria said, DJ Steve, I was at the game today, and this was one of the most embarrassing games. The Falcons were booed again in the half, and after the half, she's right. So-called fans were leaving at the half and the beginning of the third quarter. I cannot believe what I was watching today. I was so close to them. I could have called the plays, but we were so obvious with the play calling. Why not? Ryan is not, as we know, a mobile quarterback, and our defense is not tackling. The O-line is not holding the opponent long enough to give Matt time, giving him mobility. Caleb McGarry and Alex Mack had a hard time today. Running back Freeman gets ejected from the game, but Donald only got a penalty. That was kind of BS. Refs called a penalty for a late hit on the Rams quarterback, but it came to Ryan being hit the same identical way. Nothing. I'm a diehard female fan and know football very well. This was not a game because my team did not show up. They appeared to be in the beginning of the game, but then we went back to our old ways. I love my Falcons dearly. Otherwise, I would not be a fan for as long as I have to. 78. DeVoyer, you might have summed up probably about 85% of Falcons fans' frustration. I appreciate everything you said in there. I did. When you say so-called fans were leaving, I think, you know what, DeVoyer, you can do one or two things when you're a fan, and obviously you sound hardcore, which is fine. You could either stay there and get more and more frustrated or get the alcohol like Jay.
I'm drinking. I don't know if I need to be there.
And Devoria, just for the record, my daughter, and because it was her first time going to a game with me, my daughter and I stayed till about right before they went in for that field goal, LA to make it 30. And I'm somebody who usually stays to the end. It's frustrating. It's absolutely mind-boggling. Right now, we are, and I think the thing that's different from the Washingtons, the Miamis, the Cincinnatis, teams like that, they were expected to be bad. Every team I just mentioned went into the year knowing they were going to struggle. Every team. This team not only went out, drafted offensive linemen, brought in offensive linemen. Your head coach said, I don't like what my other coaches are doing. Forget it. I'll do it myself. And the results have gotten worse. So as a fan, Devoria, I can appreciate you and how you feel as a female fan, male fan, long time fan, whatever. I absolutely appreciate it. And just to let you know, obviously seeing by the number of people that are showing up and talking and calling today, I think we're just trying to vent our frustration, and we don't have answers. We don't. As much as we just talk about, me and you, Jay, we just finished talking about the offensive line. We just talked about the defensive line. We haven't even talked about the running game. We haven't talked about the inconsistent quarterback play, which probably ties a lot into the offensive line. I just named 5 things there. So when you're on a team and they say it's 5 things that you have to get corrected, that's why you're 1-6. I just finished talking about Chicago. Chicago is loaded for bear on the defense, no pun intended. But on the offensive side, they are a quarterback away from being a really great team. When you look at who was I just about to say? Not Dallas. Shoot, I'm going to get back to it in a second. But you have so many deficiencies on this team right now, and a coach who made a lot of changes that said it was going to improve this team. The frustration level is high. We came into this season, Jay, when you and I did our preview early on, and we brought Tidy on and brought Chauncey on, and we started talking about this thing. We were saying 9-7 is a disappointment. We were saying 9-7 was going to be, that'll get Dan Quinn fired. Dude, we are at 1-6 before the bye week. And not only losing, we get toe up. In the last 2 games at home, your starting offense has given you 16 points. Your starting offense has given you 16 points. That's embarrassing. And as a fan, when you keep seeing that same, that's why before I came on, I had to see Dan Quinn's press conference, because I wanted to see, is there anything in him that showed me he he knew this thing was going bad. He didn't have a lot of the cliches today. He didn't have a lot of we just got to fight hard. We just got to fight this. He didn't do a lot of that today. He looked like a man defeated, because I believe Mr. Blank went in there and told him, yeah, dude, I think we're going to have to change this thing up. I think we are. I'm going to run through a lot because I got some new names. I'm going to go to a lot of new names because I have some of the old names. I know y'all been around, and I appreciate y'all. LaWarren, say America's Georgia. What's going on, buddy? Murphy, haven't heard. Just read an article like, really, we're 1-6 and you sticking with them. You rather lose. I don't know. Maybe he's replying to somebody else. Johnny says, a shame the Bears ain't got a QB. Johnny, give me a friend request, Johnny. Bruce says, I've been following them since day one. Yes, I'm old, and I can think of several stupid losses by this team. Bruce, I'm gonna tell you, Bruce, it's disappointing, Bruce, because if you've been following this team for a long time, like I have, and you might have been following them longer, even during those losing seasons, I think the thing about our franchise was we hadn't arrived yet. And when we're so fresh, dude, the scar from 28-3 still hasn't healed. It's still there. You can see it. And I think people want so bad to go back for that opportunity. And I think it's slipping away. Not a slip away, it's slipped away. And this team is so far from 2016, it's not even funny. So Bruce, I can appreciate that you know what this team looked like when we were really losers. I'm talking about the 7. I'm talking about Marion Campbell, part 1 and part 2. I'm talking about, folks from we talk about Dan Henning. Dan Henning came in for a minute and did some good things, but I think his only playoff. He didn't even make the playoffs. I don't think Dan Henning made playoffs when he was here. Murphy said, did he?
He did.
When? Was it? Did he make one?
I thought he made.
Lehman Bennett made it 3 times. Lehman Bennett was 3. And I thought the next playoff spot, I'm not sure if Dan made it or not. Somebody double check that. I think Lehman did 78-80 and the strike year. And then we brought Dan Henning in. And I think we had a good year, but I'm not sure if we made the playoffs with him. And then the next coach we had after that, and I could be wrong, I know Glanville, too legit to quit year. And really
But
after
Glanville was after Marion Campbell's
second time, right? And we made the playoffs. And then after that, I don't think we made the playoffs again until Dan Reeves got here. And Dan Reeves made the playoffs.
June Jones after him.
June Jones was after Glanville. And then, because June Jones had Jeff George. And then it was Dan Reeves. And then after Dan Reeves, then Mike Smith. Well, I don't think Dan Henning made the playoffs. I don't think so. And I'll double check, Jay, but I don't think he did.
Yeah.
I don't think he did.
My mind all messed up.
It's all right. Bruce said, I've been following us since that. Okay, you got that. LaWarren, dude in the right is on point. He's talking about dude. I guess you the dude on the right. LaWarren, you got to send me a request, buddy. Rusty, I think the D was ticked off. The DQ got rid of Marquand. Marquand was always on the field, slapping dudes in the helmets, getting them hyped. DQ brings no fire. He's a Mike Smith clone. I can't say that because you saw I saw Dan Quinn in Seattle. Listen, it's fair to give him it's absolutely fair to give him the criticism now. Dude, when he was in Seattle, he was that guy. He was the Chris Richard that everybody going crazy for. He was that defensive guy that was knocking folks around. Ask all the guys who were in Seattle. Dan Quinn was the man when he was there. And I'm trying to tell you. And that's why he was the hottest commodity. That's why when Daniel brings up about Rex Ryan all the time, that was the reason we chose Dan Quinn over Rex Ryan. You can't go back and start saying it was a horrible hire. Yeah, we can go back. We can evaluate his body of work and say, yes, you were bad, that you're bad. But you can't go back when we hired him and say all of a sudden, oh, I knew all along he wasn't going to be good. That's not true. That's not true. Go ahead.
New Orleans is killing Chicago.
Oh, what's the score?
35-10 now.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell y'all something. This is gonna complicate things even more, y'all. Drew Brees comes back. And he's gonna come back against us after this bye week. And I'm gonna tell y'all something about Drew Brees against the Atlanta Falcons. Y'all better change the coaching now. Because Drew Brees gonna try to put up a 50 spot. And you know, and I'm Drew Brees will care not about how this team is struggling. Oh, no. He will try to put up 50 or 60 on these Falcons when he comes back off his injury. Trust me.
Isn't that the first game?
That's the first game after the bye. He is going to try to put up 50. No doubt. So y'all get ready for that.
Because see, right now we 10-point underdogs in the bye week.
Oh yeah. And probably will still lose. And will probably still lose, no doubt. No doubt. Montoya said we played them on national TV on Thanksgiving. I tell you, Ricky said he'll get 70. He probably will. But that's why I say, Ricky and Montoya, that's why I say you've got to make the change now. There's got to be something that tells people we got to shake this thing up. Because if you send that defense that's under this man right now to New Orleans with them rolling like they are, woo!
But I'm gonna tell you something else too, Steve. And it ain't just the defense now.
No!
If you put this team down there,
oh man!
Right now, I'm gonna tell you right now, and you can take it from me here, whatever date this is, the 20th of October.
Right.
That game, the New Orleans game here in Atlanta, is going to be flexed away. Somebody else is going to get that Thanksgiving night spot.
Nah, they'll play it. I'm gonna tell you how they're gonna play it. I'm gonna tell you what they already figuring it out, Jay.
Yeah.
New coach here. New coach coming. Rivalry. Last year, New Orleans did that. That's how they're gonna build it. Now, you can't flex the Thanksgiving game. There's no way they're gonna do that.
Oh yeah.
They're not gonna flex Thanksgiving, bro.
Watch.
Not Thanksgiving. They won't
lose 3 more doggone games.
Yep.
She lose 3 more games, especially the New Orleans game after the bye week. I think we have who is it? I think we have another division.
We play like 5 straight division games. 3, like maybe 4 or 5 straight. Absolutely. Okay. Sheila said Sheila.
They ratings up like that.
Right. Sheila says at the rate we're going, Bridgewater will put up 50. Yeah. Now let me tell you something. Drew Brees, when he got hurt, I'm sitting here telling y'all, Drew Brees, when he got hurt, he said, Atlanta. That's gonna be his game. I'm telling y'all, Drew Brees loves to beat Atlanta. Trust me. Devoria, Brees is gonna give us the worst hands whooping on November 10th that we ever seen. Just watch. You're right, Steve. We definitely want to make a change now. Steven Johnson, it won't let me allow you, brother. Johnny, I'm gonna try to work on that after we get off so we can do it. And I apologize for that. I got like 3 things I got hooked up. I'm sorry, brother. Antoine, that defense line got to change up quick. LaWarren, what is Arthur waiting on? And like I said, with LaWarren, I don't know, but I don't know whether he's saying we'll flip it all on the bye week, but I am surprised. And I told a couple of guys who were in the stands today, I will be shocked if he wasn't gone by tonight or tomorrow. I don't know. But if anybody watched that press conference today, I have not seen Dan Quinn like that ever. So I don't know. We all think because Arthur said something. Look, he's got to play that game. He's got to play, I support him. He's got to play that in public. You think for 1 minute that Arthur Blank is happy for the second home game in a row that the fans are booing his team going into the locker room. They're booing his team when they come off for an offensive series. They're basically laughing at your coach when they're laughing at your coach, not coach. They're laughing at your quarterback when he gets hurt. And that wasn't all the fans, but it was a pocket of fans that were laughing when your starting quarterback gets hurt. Dude, as a owner, I don't care who you are. That's not a good place to be for a stadium that's 3 years old. Go ahead, Jay.
And something I got to say, now I said it on my broadcast, and I got to say it on yours.
Mm-hmm.
I have never advocated that Matt Ryan get hurt.
Right.
I have never stuck.
Yeah, you haven't.
Celebrate.
Nah, you haven't. You haven't.
Quarterback get hurt in order to see somebody replace him.
Or a player.
Okay?
Or a player, period.
Or any player.
Yeah.
You know.
Or a player, period.
Now, there are some that I say that need a 2x put upside their head.
Right.
Coaches.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Now, and I
And
hope
I'm
whatever with Ryan is not serious.
Right.
Because the thing is, at this juncture and at this point, with the amount of money we have committed to him, he is our best option to win.
Right.
All of the criticisms and all of the tape and all of the things that I have said about Matt Ryan was to show things that he needs to work on and things that the coaching staff is supposed to be teaching him, training him, and mentoring him about. Because there are things that he does that endanger and mess up games. Okay? Now, and the thing is that I've always wanted him to get better. But the thing is that when you start talking with other fans, the first thing they say, you hate it. You don't like it.
Right.
I do not like the play that I see because I know it can get better.
Right.
But see, now this is year 11 now.
Right.
It's year 11. You know, the things that you were not correcting back then come and bite you in the rear end somewhere, somehow.
But let me ask you this, and I'm gonna break in. I'm gonna get a couple of comments right here, and about yes or no question, and then I'm gonna come back to you in a second. Yes or no? What he's doing this year is the majority of it based on the play of the offensive line. Yes or no? And I'm gonna come back to you. Majority.
No.
Okay. All right, that's fair. And we're gonna get back to you. Hold that thought. Hold that thought. Ricky says Blank cannot wait to pull the trigger on this fallout. There's no way we can win against anyone in our division with the team we have now. Tidy says, and let me tell you what your buddy Tidy did. Tidy come over here and talk about what's up, John. Like, I mean, when all of a sudden did I start, you know what I'm saying? Hey, show me that Mad Dog you just threw up again. That's right there. Tidy, you drink some of that and get yourself right. I'm Steve, and that's John. I'm like, come on, man. Come on. Paul says, DJ Steve, there might be a handful of people out there. Tidy ain't no good, man. I you know what? And I'm about to bring Tidy on. I ain't bringing him on nothing now. Paul says, DJ Steve, there might be a handful of people in those stands next Sunday. Arthur Blanks needs to fire Thomas Dimitroff and Dan Quinn. You know what, though, Paul? I hope they show pictures of the stands next week. And they plant it all over Fox 5, Channel 11, Channel 2, ESPN, NFL Network to embarrass. He might get embarrassed into making changes because it's crazy. Jimmy said they won't flex it. How bad they look for Detroit. Jaqual said it doesn't help that we trolled New Orleans about that no call. Oh, yeah, oh, my goodness. Chauncey, what's up, Chauncey? I was watching you earlier, brother. I was watching you. Chauncey says too much. Chauncey said too much money been spent. They're not flexing that game. Ricky, and he loves to beat the Falcons. Talking about Breeze. Go at Breeze thumb again. Ricky said we can't continue the way we have and play. Rick said he is gone tonight. Rick, I've been singing that since I came on. I think he is too. Ricky, it said it took a long time for him to get to the podium too. Much longer than he has all year. He got told he's packing. I believe that. Listen, I don't know a thing. I haven't said a thing to anybody. I don't know anybody on the inside. I'm trying to tell you, if you watch this, obviously you watch the same thing, bruh. His body language was like somebody just told him, you might as well give your good speech now, because that's the last speech you given as my coach. He looked like he said that. I could be wrong. Bobby said, ouch, Dan is fired by bye week. Bank on it. Miles, how you doing? Devonta, the only thing dumber than throwing a punch at a person wearing a helmet is throwing a punch at Aaron Donald wearing a helmet and getting kicked out the game, which did end up changing the rest of the really how the rest of the game went, because your running backs situation was jacked. Philip, no, Matt should know by now. No more teaching. Gregory, man, no, don't speak New Orleans. They boiling us hot dog in toilet water right now, asking if we want mustard. It's going to be a hot mess against them Aints. I'm going to tell you something, though. Right now, Falcon fans, seriously, at this point, save your energy for that game, because that's going to be the game that we're going to have to put all our energy to. And I know you're about to give me an update on that game, John. Ricky says it's a shame that we have a team full of superstars that would literally bring fear to any team in the NFL. We're 1-5. That's coaching. Locker room's gone. Antoine, hell no, thank you. Rick, the players on the practice squad, what we need to do right now. I agree with that too. Carla. Hi, Carla. To lose is one thing. To not compete is unacceptable. Matt Ryan is not the answer. Never was and never will be. Enough said. Gregory said the season Matt got hurt. What else you want to know? Anton said let Sanu play quarterback. Sanu might not be on the team by the trading deadline. Ricky say and DJ Steve, that's the case. Jermaine said familiar fashion. I bet you we will keep Quinn to the end of the season. Jermaine, if I see you, brother, I will give you liter of your favorite beverage. Yeah, exactly. I will give you a liter of your favorite beverage if he makes it to the end of the season. Shin, I haven't seen you, brother. Shin says, and Shin got a soliloquy. Shin says, we've been sold a lie. A lot of Dan Quinn is a mastermind. A lot that we have the talent to win. Yes, we have pretty offensive skill position, but that's it. I'm going to skip down, Shin, because you wrote a damn novel. Here is the ugly truth. We suck. We aren't talented on the defensive side of the ball, minus Debo and Gravy. We run basic defensive schemes that these teams can't execute. If you want to say it's the job of the coach to have our team ready, I agree with you. You're right. The coaches are the problem, and these players are the problem also. I feel sorry for those that have spent tens of thousands of dollars in PSLs just to have the right to see the sorriest team up close. They are the people who should and have the right to be the maddest of all Falcon fans. I agree. I think everyone needs to be fired. Head coach, GM, assistant GM, scouts, team doctors, marketing team, field crowds, crew. Everybody must go and start from scratch. And y'all want to read that? Shan got a whole lot. And Shan, dude, I agree, bro. There is nothing in here that isn't correct. It's frustration. It's frustration. And you're absolutely right. As one of those PSL owners, and again, let me make it clear. Just because I go to the games doesn't mean my frustration should be more than a regular fan. But I will say this. It does make me want to hold the owner more accountable, because if you're telling me, if you're going to show shiny commercials telling me about buy season tickets, come in here and do this, and I'm watching you watch this team slowly just deteriorate into the laughing stock of the NFL, we'll be on the other side of that joke. Remember the joke that the Cleveland Browns used to have? Remember how they always have, could Alabama beat Cleveland? Could Oklahoma beat Cleveland? And Atlanta is falling into that. Could Alabama beat Atlanta? When you're in that category, it's crazy. Johnny says the media. I'm coming to you, John. I'm trying my best. I'm almost there. The media was asking him tough questions. They were, Johnny. Robin, that's why he ended quick. Did you notice, Johnny? That was the shortest press conference of this losing streak. He was done, and I think he was done because he is done. Robin said, "I want to see Allison get some snaps. You might get your wish." Chauncey, why was Devonta Freeman the only one ejected from the game? It wasn't Dom for him to throw a punch. He should have had more of his teammates have his back. And Chauncey, I think you missed that whole thing. I think we talked about it earlier where we were saying it was ridiculous. Oh, the teammates came, and if you were looking live like I was, and go back and look at the game, I wish they have a coach's film. Because when Devontae was going at it with him, it was like nobody moved except I think Jamon Brown was sitting over there. Nobody moved. And then all of a sudden, I think somebody on the sidelines must have said, go out there and get him. Because all of them came as a group. Because most of the time, if you have your teams back, the brotherhood, it would seem like folks would have been coming out of everywhere to come and defend him. And they didn't. So you're right, Chauncey. Sheehan, Dimitrov failed us as GM for 12 years. Ricky, New Orleans stinks. Can't wait to beat us. Michael, I haven't seen you, Mike. Blank said he still backs Quinn, and the bye week means nothing to him. I'm livid. What doesn't he see? The seats are empty. I like Urban Meyer as coach. Oh, no. He won't be friends with the players like Quinn. He should do us all a favor and just resign. Blank looks lost. Blank saying that, Mike. Trust me. Trust me. Dan Quinn will not be on this. He will not be the head coach at the end of this season. I'm saying he will not be the head coach at the end of the bye week. Trust me. Charles says, one big fire sale. Sheehan, sorry about the long post, bro. I had to tell the fans the truth. Sheehan, don't apologize. Like I said, I would have read it if I wasn't trying to catch up with everybody else. But I feel you, Sheehan. I feel you. Jory says, Justin Fields in a few years. Chauncey, and it missed me with the New Orleans Saints thing about us glorified what happened to New Orleans. They sang the loudest when we blew the lead in the Super Bowl. So F New Orleans. I feel you, Chauncey. I feel you. Seahawks lost at home. They're going to take it. Oh, they did lose that game? Seattle lost? Oh, man. Oh, Lord. They're going to come in here. Like I said, and look, aside of let's count it up. And obviously, week one, everybody, is what they are. Week one of the season, Philadelphia might be the only team I think that came into the season and had a win before they played us. No, Arizona. I take that back. Arizona. But I know Indy lost before they played us. I know Houston lost before they played us. And I know the Rams lost before they played us. So they took out, those 3 games, they took out all of their stuff on us. Daniel says, CBS confirmed that Quinn won't be here next year, so he knows he won't be there. Well, I mean, if you're telling the man he's not going to be here next year, he might as well not be here this week. And look, you'd rather start whoever's taking over for this team this year is not going to be the coach at the end of the year. So why wait? If CBS confirm all they want to, but I think, make the change, man. Ricky says, think DQ got the message from Blank that tomorrow is Black Monday. He might have. He may have. Saul, if you saw anybody who saw, let me know if y'all saw the press conference. If y'all saw the press conference, tell me what y'all thought. Because I saw, Jay, did you see the press conference?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you got to see that press conference. I'm going to tell you, when you finish with me, go check that press conference out. Because I waited. If anybody noticed, I came on right after the press conference. Okay. There is no way after that you think he survived. Go ahead, Jay. I'm sorry.
Now, I'm just going back and forth looking to see if there's going to be an announcement. Because, see, Dan Quinn has a press conference usually the day after the game.
Right.
On with 92.9 and all that type of. So I'm looking to see whether there's going to be a called press conference from the Atlanta Falcons.
Right.
When you call those press conferences, it's head chopping time.
Oh yeah. And Seattle lost too. That's crazy. I'm gonna update everybody. Saints are beating the junk out of Chicago. Chicago's in need of a quarterback, man. Chicago had a quarterback. They beat all that. Saints, man, listen, I'm gonna tell y'all something, and I don't want to say it, man. Saints are favorite to go to the Super Bowl. Barring anything, think about it now. It's 36-18. Drew Brees is not at quarterback. Alvin Kamara is not at running back. And it's 36-18. Saints are no joke, y'all. I don't even want to start making Saints fans feel good, but I'm going to tell y'all, our worst nightmare is about to happen because these cats are about to, barring some crazy stuff, they're about to be the number one seed in the NFC. The Dolphins lost to the Bills, so thank God we're not the worst team in the NFL. Jaguars beat the Bengals. That's another team that hasn't won. Vikings, who messed us over. At least the Vikings is looking like a quality loss because they are pretty decent. The Packers beat up on the Raiders today. Colts 30-23 over the Texans. Cardinals coming off their win against us, made it 2 in a row against the Giants. So they played 2 sorry teams in a row. 49ers. Oh, wait. 9-0. 49ers defense. Everybody talking about Kyle Shanahan. Boy, that defense, man. That defense has been coming to play. 9-0 against the Redskins. Titans, who got well against us with a new quarterback, Ryan Tannehill. 23-20 over the Chargers. Chargers, the NFC has been the Falcons, and the AFC, the Chargers have been garbage.
Wait, man, look, the Chargers with Norv Turner. See, when Marty Schottenheimer got fired out there,
right,
that team that he built, and you gave Norv Turner the keys to a Super Bowl team,
yes, sir,
and he messed it up, they've been snake bit, cursed, everything. Because that's Marty Schottenheimer's team that he built out there. You know?
Yeah.
So, hey, man, Chargers, I just, man, I'm just mad about that. That ain't none of my business because I got problems here. But, you know, when I saw that happen, Marty Schottenheimer, man, I never did get over that crazy Spanos and the.
Oh, yeah, Alex Spanos. Right. Right. Paul Jefferson says, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, once you read that, I wanted to get back because you asked me something about
the
offensive line.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
You want me to do it now?
No, please. Yes.
Okay. This is coaching because what do you do as an offensive coordinator when your offensive line can't block the way that you think they should block? I mean, I play mad. Okay? I play mad.
Right.
My problem is this here. If I'm playing with the Falcons and I know that the Falcons offensive line can't block, we going not necessarily to a no huddle game, but the passes that I'm going to make are going to be very quick and very short.
Right.
So that the defense cannot react in time enough. They can't get to me. The only thing that they can hope to do is hold their hands up and knock the pass down.
Right.
This is something that we have not been doing.
Right.
This is something we haven't been doing. You know, we're not, you know, when it comes time for us to move, and, you know, you've shown that the offensive line has shown that they can't block or hold anybody.
Right.
Where's the quick passing game? Why are you running people 20-yard, 30-yard ins, 30-yard outs, 30-yard comebacks? Why are you doing that? Why are you taking 5 and 7 step drop and the defensive lineman is coming right with you, coming around the corner,
right,
and you're not getting rid of the ball? Either to throw it away in the direction of a receiver, because look like when you aim at somebody, you throw it all over the top of the head.
That's true. That's true.
Know, there are things that you can do. But last week, that offensive line with that running back in the backfield was giving Matt Ryan time. You didn't have the doggone blocking back in the game at all this week. He wasn't there. You're trying to run out of a one-back set with an Aaron Donald. With a defensive line like that, you're trying to run the running back out of a one-back set.
Right.
You know, I don't do this for a living. I just play Madden. Okay? I've watched football. You've watched football.
Right.
All of the fans here have watched football at one time or another, and you are making better decisions than the Falcons coaching staff. That tells me right now. That should tell everybody something, because you know, Steve, you have a whole bunch of folks that don't agree with you from time to time.
Oh, absolutely.
If you think you can do better.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Because they ain't paying me. Okay? They paying them.
Right.
They have identified these people as being smart or smarter than the rest of us, supposedly, more stronger than the rest of us, with more talent than the rest of us. That's why they're compensated the way they are. And that's why I give no slack for bad play.
Right.
Because you people are the professionals. I'm here watching what you do.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have a real critical eye about what it is that you do, because there are some things that we know as fans that are wrong.
Right.
We know better about a lot of the things that are being tried, a lot of the personnel decisions that you make, the plays that you call, the things that you do that, hey, what do you think those analysts on TV telling you about various things are doing?
Right.
Hey, I saw the quarterback do this, or hey, that running back should have done that. Especially when John Madden was calling the game. John Madden was teaching. And for those of you who were paying attention, you learned something. And you learn, like Chauncey King said, not to be peeing down my back and telling me it's raining. You know, we are looking at this.
Right. Right.
And see, the thing is, if we didn't care, we wouldn't be saying a word.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah, this whole fan base, this fan base cares. Yeah, this fan base cares. I look at people that have been coming in, especially a lot of people that I hadn't seen in a little while, just coming in. I'm trying to catch up with some of y'all. I'm trying to catch some of the people I haven't seen. Devoria said, call Mr. Blank and tell him I'm available to take over the rest of the season. They might need you. Chauncey said, I just fired my pistol. Y'all got Chauncey shooting people. So he said he just shot his pistol. Devoria says 36-24, 48 seconds left. She's talking about the Saints game. Montoya, I saw the press conference. He looked like doom and gloom, and I looked up. He was gone, just walked off. He did. Ricky says, that's the reason why I'm saying no cliches, no reputation. Yep, you're right, Ricky. None of that coach speak. None of that today. He looked like he was trying to hide that Arthur Blank told him something today. Darius says, you probably already spoke on this. Did you see how nobody had Freeman's back? We did, Darius. We talked about it at length. Both of us agreed that there should have been some type of, we went back to the game 6-7 years ago, or 5-6 years ago, when Matt Ryan got hurt, and or the guy hit Matt Ryan and nobody came to defend him except one person. We talked about that. Ricky says, I can't say the Saints are the best. Packers are looking good. Yeah, Packers looking good, but the Saints, man, they look like both sides. Even though the Packers have been looking good both sides too. I would say that too. Go ahead, bud.
The Saints are well-rounded.
Yeah. Even though the Packers defense is, they're not the Saints right now. Saints are hurting in the secondary. Lattimore has come back down to earth. I think P.J. Thomas just got suspended a couple of weeks. And they say Eli Apple, I forgot who was that gave me the update. Johnny, thank you, buddy. Eli Apple just went down might be an ACL. Steven says, who's the 49ers coach? Yeah, 49. I know that's going to be, some, again.
And we got the play.
God bless Kyle Shanahan and everything. I'm not going to look back on that one because I say to myself, it's not. People are acting like, remember at the time, and it's hard for people to understand this. And I know everybody wants to play Monday morning quarterback. You just came off a Super Bowl. Kyle Shanahan was the hottest name coming off the Super Bowl. Kyle Shanahan had a choice. Arthur Blank offered him the most money an offensive coordinator had ever received or would have received, or be a head coach of a football team. He chose to be the head coach. We didn't get rid of him. Some of y'all now want to act like you can go back in time, like in Avengers Endgame, and go back and say, hold on, Kyle, they're about to go bad. Let's hire you and fire Dan Quinn, even though he's just coming off of a Super Bowl loss. Stop. I know Kyle Shanahan is good, and even some of y'all about Matt LaFleur. Now acting like we saw Matt LaFleur being a great head coach. Stop. If you want to say both of them turned out to be great, that's one thing. But stop trying to act like you knew after the Super Bowl Dan Quinn was going to fail and both of them were going to turn out to be great 3 years later. Go ahead. Go ahead, John.
If you want to go in the Wayback Machine,
right,
you need to go back a little further than that.
Right. That's exactly.
And 10 on the 22.
Yeah, that's true. See, that's my thing. Don't play the we should have fired Dan Quinn and hired them as a head coach. What fool would fire the head coach coming off a Super Bowl? I don't know anybody that would do. Did we think the results would be what they are now? If you did that, then unless you were Marty McFly and went back and got a sports almanac, unless you did that, stop with that nonsense. Kyle Shanahan, and it took him a couple of years. Kyle Shanahan is doing well now. Matt LaFleur is a whole different situation. You basically got either the second or third best quarterback in the NFL right now, and you inherited him. So, of course, you should be flourishing. The defense came along with Green Bay. That's what's going on with that. I can't stand this, we should have kept Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan left for greener pastures. He wanted to be a head coach. It's just like the argument I had last week, and I don't want to go into that, but the Justin Fields against Jake Fromm. Justin Fields left. He left for good reason, but he left. He knew he wasn't going to beat Jake Fromm. Jake Fromm is, again, coming off a season where he had and very similar to Dan Quinn, coming off a season where he was a step away from he was a blown defense away from being a national champion. And now you go back at Monday morning quarterback and say you should let Justin Fields just take over the team because you see him a year later putting up pinball machine numbers. Stop. Do you think, Montoya, a few calls the ref missed would have helped us a little? Montoya, at this point, as I was talking, referees are human too. When referees see a mess of a team, I'm telling you, they're not gonna give team breaks. They're gonna give the team that's hustling breaks. They're gonna give the team that's rolling downhill breaks. They're not gonna worry about the teams that are scrubby. They're gonna let the scrubs be scrubs. That call against Jared Goff was garbage. That was not intent. That was not unnecessary roughness. Kyler Murray did not make a first down. That was not fair catch interference last week. But when you're losing, I'm telling you, you can't help it. It's human nature. that you say, oh, no, they're struggling anyway. No way they should be getting that call. I just believe that. I do. Sheila, and I'm getting my female fans. I like that. Thank you, females, for chiming in. I appreciate that. Sheila, as much as I hate Saints Peyton and been down there slowly but surely building this team while we have been building one of the worst defenses in Atlanta history. And Sheila, you would have thought we were building a defense to mess with my man Sean Payton. But yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Ricky says they weren't going to fire DQ after the Super Bowl loss, and it was a bad decisions that were made in the fourth quarter of our Super Bowl. Slow down, eat clock, run the ball, win the game. Hey, Ricky, you're absolutely right. And who was running that show? See, everybody who wants to act like Kyle Shanahan is the cat's meow, where was all that genius when you had the ball, as John says, on what was the situation, John?
First and goal on the 22.
And who was making the decisions on the game, the game plan then? Was Dan Quinn calling the offense then?
Nope.
Okay.
That was all Kyle Shanahan.
It's it. Sheehan says it. Bad teams get bad calls. That's the truth. And that's unfair. And it is, it's almost like that in baseball too. If Matt Scherzer is playing against, I don't even know who the sorriest team is right now, and the ball might be 3 inches off the plate and it's 11 zip, man, that umpire trying to go to dinner. And it's over. I mean, it is. Michael says, Whitworth was dragging Tack to the ground 4 or 5 different players, different plays, and wasn't called. I believe it. Michael, who do you want to be our coach? We know Schaub is not our answer. Michael, I've been throwing so many names out there. And I know the one name everybody got fired up when I said he actually pulled off a big upset this past weekend, Lovie Smith up in Illinois. And I almost wonder, because Illinois has been struggling, I almost wonder if he had the opportunity. He took a Chicago team and took them to the Super Bowl. And let's not forget, too, our offensive coordinator who was here took advantage of a strange situation in Tampa Bay, because Tampa Bay was 9-7 and Lovie Smith was fired. We still don't know why, but Lovie Smith was fired after a 9-7 season, and Dirk Cutter took over and didn't do better. Say what you saying, John?
You know why?
Why?
Because now this is what various media outlets were saying at the time. The Glazer family, I think that's who it was, that's still on.
Yeah, this Glazers. Yeah.
They wanted Lovie Smith to fire his whole defensive staff.
Oh, and he wouldn't. I got you.
Said no. Plus the fact, okay, Jameis had just gotten there, and Cutter took advantage of that. Well, Cutter was already there as his offensive.
Right.
Okay. So they went ahead and promoted Cutter to head coach.
Right.
And he kept running the offense. And see now, Steve, that's the thing that I'm gonna go to something right here for a second, if you don't mind.
No, go ahead.
The timeout that should have been taken prior to the fake punt.
Oh yeah. Oh, and were you on when I was talking about that? Did you get on? I said, yeah, that might have been right before you got Jay. I said the same thing. When you saw that punter, the moment you saw that punter step up, somebody on the sideline should have said, "Time out, time out."
That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying, Steve. Because the thing is, My question was, because see, I mentioned this on my broadcast. Dan Quinn, were you watching what was going on the field?
Mm-hmm.
Because see, the thing was, Steve, the defense had just closed them down.
Right.
The defense had just stopped them on a 3 and out.
Right.
Everybody, including me, thought, hey, here we go. All right, offense, it's time for you to get out here on the field. What you gonna do? And then, if you remember, Los Angeles called a timeout first.
Right.
Then they lined up for the fake punt, made the shift. We didn't.
Right.
We didn't. And my thing is, were you paying attention on what was going on the field? Were you watching? Because see, the thing is, I'd have got a 15-yard penalty for knocking over the official trying to call a timeout.
Right.
You know,
right.
I'd have beat that joke up trying to call a doggone timeout to stop what was getting ready to happen. Now, even if you ran it or even if you didn't, I'm stopping play so that you can't do this. Okay? But you didn't do it. There have been times that timeout should have been called, challenges should have been made that you didn't make, that you missed, that somebody was not watching or what was going on. Now, were you over there high-fiving the defense so hard that you didn't understand what was going on the field? Because, see, they did call the timeout.
Right.
You know?
Right.
You know? And where is your clock management person? Where he at? What?
Yeah, because they made a big deal. Remember, they made a big deal out of that this past year because when they were asking him, if you're going to be doing the defense and being the head coach, who's going to be paying attention to little things like that? And you're right. I didn't see who was. Yeah, I didn't notice who was going to be on there. John, I'm gonna take a quick second, right quick. I think I know who this is coming on that phone. Johnny, is that you, brother?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, how you doing, man? This Johnny been trying to get on. I don't know what was going on Facebook, my friend. But Johnny, you got the floor, brother. Talk to me, brother. The floor is yours. Tell me what's on your mind. I know you've been shooting in with the comments all night. I appreciate it. What you got?
Well, we're in a rebuild, and it's gonna probably take about more than a year. So what we're looking at is something none of us wanted to go through, but you know, it took too long to make the changes, and here we are. Now we're stuck.
And you say stuck. Let me ask you a question though. And this is my feeling, Johnny. You're 1-6, and obviously we're not even talking about postseason. Right now, it's about the body language, the effort, the whole thing going on with a team. Don't you think right now a coaching change is imminent? I mean, I don't know any other way to address it. What do you think?
Right. Well, I wanted to keep Dan Quinn. I wrote an article on that, and I spoke about it. But right now, he's stuck in a position where he can't make the calls any longer because he's did it for about 4 years now. I mean, how many years can he keep telling the same guy to keep playing a certain way? So, I mean, I think he's pretty much tapped out, and they're just going to have to bring somebody else in.
And it's really disappointing because he came in as the defensive guru. And, you know, I've told people several times, it's one thing to coach the Legion of Boom. It's another thing to not have the players that were in that system. And that's what I disagree with people when they say he was so great. I said, maybe it was the players. What you think?
No, the system is fine. It's, you know, I think these guys got an issue. This, you know, I think the guy on the right, I don't know his name. Is it John too?
Yeah, John. Yeah, John.
I think he mentioned that these guys, they don't care anymore. They just care about the money, and a lot of them they're spending it, and they're out there. They're not going to the film. They're not doing what they have to do. And you see that from Vic Beasley. He's constantly rushing from the side, almost playing like he's blind.
Absolutely.
And guys are just like, he should be able to read a screen coming. He can't even read a screen. He can't read a picture. He can't read anything. It's embarrassing, Johnny. I will put you on the spot, and I hate to do that to you. If you're Arthur Blank, October 20th at 8:05, what is your next decision on your team? And that could be anything from player to coach to GM.
What are you doing right now? What is your next decision?
Well, if I'm Arthur Blank, I'm leaving this alone until the Atlanta United season is done.
And that's true. And that was a great win they had yesterday against New England. I was a little scared for them in the first half. They were kind of playing with them, and they switched up to that was it 4-2-2, and kind of switched up, and things start happening a little bit. I'm glad that they did end up taking that game. But from a football standpoint, if you were in his shoes and I was Dan Quinn sitting in front of him, what would your next conversation with me be?
I'd bring you in, I'd sit down, I'd say, hey, I think for your career and for the future of this franchise, I think it'd be best for us to part ways. And it's nothing against you, no hard feelings. But, I mean, I'm looking out for my franchise, and I hope you're able to bounce back from, this turmoil that happened. And best of luck to the both of us.
And it absolutely makes sense. And I appreciate it, Johnny. I'm going to messenger you right after this is over with. And dude, I appreciate not only you calling, but I appreciate your perspective. It's a perspective that I think 90% of the fans are thinking, and it's dude, it's frustrating. You listen to Johnny's voice. I think that's where we are. I think we're at a point where we don't want to be thinking about a new coach. If y'all thinking for 1 second that we taking joy in talking about new coaches, talking about getting rid of Matt Ryan, talking about the trash defensive line, trading players, if y'all think there is a joy in this, it's not. Because these forums are mainly made up of Atlanta fans, Atlanta Falcon fans. Nobody takes joy in seeing a man get fired. I said that from the beginning. I've talked about that at length. There is no joy in that. But at this point and at this juncture right now, change must be made. You are losing this fan base. I am looking across from my seat, and I can only imagine them looking across from me, and I'm seeing a sea of red seats out in the area. That's unacceptable. I don't care if we're gonna be 1-6 and we're saying the season is over. At least I want to see we have a head start on 2020, and we don't want to think like that, but we have a head start on 2020. We can start seeing who wants to play on this team. We can start activating some of these practice squad guys. Let's start talking to some of these rookies that we have. Let's start letting them get some playing time. These are evaluations that you can be doing as a team going into 2020, because 2019 is over. It is. And if your quarterback is going to be gone any length of time past 2 weeks, this is an evaluation too for what your next step at quarterback could be. I'm not saying get rid of Matt Ryan like a lot of other people are saying. Dude, I'm trying to tell y'all this is a team failure. This is not a Matt Ryan failure. This is not a Vic Beasley failure. This is not a McKinley failure. This is not a Grady Jarrett failure. This is not a Julio failure. This is an Atlanta organization failure. Are all of those people accountable inside the organization? Absolutely. But we must evaluate every person and figure out what we're going to do next. Because right now, on Sunday, October 20th, we are trash right now. And as a fan, I'm upset. And as a fan who pays good money to go out there and watch these guys play, I think it's unacceptable. And I think we need to look and take an honest look at what we're doing for the rest of the season. And now is that time to do it. Go ahead, Jay.
Now, I was listening to what you were saying, and I say the confusing thing about it is that we are having to make this decision this early in the season. Now, it's middle of the season. It's middle of the season. And it would be one thing to have to make this decision after week 12, 14, something of that nature. But we're having to make this type of decision in week 8. Coming up on week 8.
Right.
Now, the 7 games that we have played, in the beginning of the season, as we've talked and said, we had a lot of value on each one of these players. Now, there were some players we didn't like. There were some players that we did like. There were some players that we had a lot of value in, such as the 2 draft picks that we got, as well as the 2 free agents that we got for the offensive line. Debo's coming back. KZ's coming back. People were coming back. But now that they are back, and we are in this 1-6 hole,
right,
this devalues every player on the squad. This record devalues everybody, from Matt Ryan all the way down to the groundskeeper. I don't know if I want that man cutting my grass out there. Okay? I don't know if I want the water boy giving me any water. Everybody is devalued because of how bad the team looks on the field. All right? Now, today, with the fight, all right? Now, I already know Devonta Freeman is 190 pounds. I know that Aaron Donald, 260, 270, 280, whatever. But to see your running back, to see any man with your uniform on, all up in the air, helpless, because this man is overpowering him, it's a bad look. Then on top of that, while that's happening, and the rest of your teammates ain't coming out there to do anything or say anything or surround some folk and get thrown out and all that type of stuff, that looks even worse. For all of these people that we spent all this money on, and I'm not talking about Matt Ryan specifically, I'm talking about Big Beasley, I'm talking about Julio, I'm talking about Ridley, I'm talking about Alex Mack, I'm talking about Hooper, all of them are devalued because of what the record is and what this record looked like on the way to getting there. All right, we just look bad. We look pitiful. We look like we don't even belong on the field with another team.
I got a reply, and I just wanted to make sure I addressed. Rusty come back and said, "We are not in rebuild. The last caller was wrong. The reason we are so upset is because we were expected to be a title contender. We have some pieces. We just need a new head coach in DC. I didn't think it's a complete rebuild, though." Rusty, and I'm listening to your points. You're probably right. I don't think we're in a complete rebuild at all. I don't think that at all. I think we were
adding needed pieces.
Right. And from an offense, and that's why, Jay, when I was talking about the offensive line, and while I understand that's an easy place to go when you see your quarterback and now get hurt, that's an easy place to go. But offensive line, great offensive lines aren't built in a day. If y'all remember what Dallas did, now Dallas is known as one of the better offensive line in the game. Say this about Dak. Dak doesn't usually get harassed a whole lot. But he doesn't get harassed a whole lot. And Zeke has some nice holes to go through. That offensive line didn't just start overnight. It took them about 2 to 3 years to build that offensive line like they are now. And when they got to their peak, that's when they just happened to get Ezekiel Elliott to run behind that offensive line. Sometimes you're right. You're right, Rusty. sometimes you do have to evaluate your parts and see, is it the players or is it the coaches? Now, it's fair for us to look and say, okay, going forward, is Julio part of our 3-year plan? Is Matt Ryan part of our 3-year plan? Is Sanu part of our 3-year plan? Is Hooper part of our 3-year plan? It's fair to ask those questions. But I think from your standpoint, I do understand what you mean. I don't think we're in a complete rebuild. I think, Rusty, my man Johnny is frustrated. He's frustrated. And when you see the performances, the last 3 weeks, and let me do quick addition. We have up 52, 37, and 30. Was it 37 we lost by Arizona last week? Was it 37 or 34?
No,
34. So if my Atlanta Public Schools adding is correct, I think that's 123 points. Now, I'm not a genius in football, but if you're averaging in quick division, you're giving up at least 40 points a game, you're not having a great chance of winning. So there's something there that says maybe it is coaching. Now, can anybody coach Vic? And somebody said it this week, we'll trade Vic to New England and all of a sudden he'll have 10 sacks. You never know. It might be the scheme. But whatever's going on in Atlanta right now, everybody is in like a malaise. And we're going to have to get that together, man, because it's really bad. Let me get a couple of questions in, Jay, real quick. Steven says we need to get a new set of minds at the top of the franchise. The Mitchells have to go. Rich McKay can go out the door with him. Fresh start with a beer philosophy. Roy, why would you get Julio Jones hurt this season? Trade them or sit them. Put the guys on the practice squad and get experience. We are out of it without one division game. Dan Quinn is the worst coach in Falcon history. I can absolutely disagree with you and tell you Dan Quinn is not the worst coach in Falcons history. I know you're upset, and I know today definitely was not a great day, or nor have the last 3 or 4 games been. Dan Quinn is not the worst coach in Atlanta franchise history by far. So let's not go that route. That's just, I understand you're mad, and I think there needs to be a change too. That's an inaccurate statement you're making, Roy, but I understand. Sheldon, just a question. Clemson coach, Dabo Swinney can blank after the season, just asking. I think he can ask, but if you're Dabo Swinney right now, you're basically in the best 1 or 2 college programs where you're going to be making the most money as a college coach right now to coach young boys. You're in the best. You don't move an inch unless you want it to be an NFL coach. And judging by Dabo, I think Dabo likes being a college coach. I don't think he, but to your point, he can talk. I don't think Dabo wants to go anywhere. But good thought, though. I wouldn't mind asking him. I wouldn't mind asking him at all. Steven says we need a fresh start from the top down, but Dimitrov, McKay got to go. We need a whole new philosophy. Gerald, and at home yet, the team is dead. There's no harm in firing the coach at this time. You cannot play that bad at home. Soul of the team is gone. Enough of this terrible play. Gerald, I've been singing that all day. Dude, you are getting handed your behind at your home place. You are getting and I'm not ignoring how good things were looking for a second in the first half. Defense actually played pretty good in the first half. They didn't. You only got 13. You gave up 13 points in the first. That's not a horrible defense. That's not. Your offense wasn't helping today. And that's another thing. We inconsistent. One day the defense has been bad really most of the season. But one day the offense scores 33 points. The next day we don't show up. I mean, it's inconsistency all along. Ricky, I have a question. If Matt Ryan leads the league in touchdowns, second in yards coming in today, has a 110 passer rating, completed 71% of the passes with an O-line at his ankles, why are we talking about getting rid of Matt Ryan? Drew Brees would be worse with our O-line, but switch up the quarterbacks and put Matt and the Stanks. Give us Brees with the same situation, and what would be the dialogue? The same. You're right. No, that's a great point, Ricky. I don't think it's a matter. You know what it is? I think when we all see stuff going sour, who are the two folks that we look at when you start talking about a team going south? You look at the quarterback and you look at the coach. And it's unfair as unfair can be. Do you know there was talk of Aaron Rodgers being traded last year when Green Bay started to go south? There was talk of Russell Wilson the year that they didn't make the playoffs, of him getting traded. Again, we are all very reactive. This is a very reactive generation we have now. When we see things going bad, we say fire immediately. Now, the Dan Quinn thing has been a trend. So he has deserved this talk very well, very much so. Ricky says Matt Ryan is not the only issue. Definitely deserves some of the blame, but team meltdown in every phase. I think I pointed that out. Johnny replied to Rusty, and I hear you. Ricky said we have talent, just need a little coaching staff to take advantage of what we have. We are not seeing Allison run the ball. He's supposed to be the bell cow running back in the short yardage. I have not seen him play. There are others. It's got to be a reason why he hasn't played too. I've been asking that question all year. No DQ is not the worst, not even close. You're right, Ricky. Jeremy, hey, Matt Schaub needs to start. He took the Falcons down for a touchdown with a minute left. Yeah, fool's goal right there, my friend. Fool's goal. Tony says Falcons just don't play for 4 quarters on both sides of the ball. Just like I was saying, Tony, just inconsistency. One week your defense looks decent. The next week we're giving up 50 points. This was, to your point, 4 quarters. Defense looked okay in the first half, and then in the second half, all of a sudden, we're forgetting how to tackle. We go right back to that little zone mess we've been doing before and give up easy points. Now, today also your offense didn't help out. So I don't know. It's just you're right. It's inconsistency on all points. Tony also says Matt Ryan, Dan Fouts, Dan Marino, Fran Tarkin, and Matt Stafford. Same guys. You're right. You're right. Andre, what Marino one of the best to ever do it and just never able to get there. I don't understand your point. I think he's just saying that those guys, and I think he's given a kind of a compliment to say those are decent quarterbacks. By no means, Marino was on a different level. To me, Marino was the best quarterback to never win the Super Bowl, in my opinion. I think Dan Marino is better than a lot of quarterbacks who have won. I got a news flash for you. I think Dan Marino was way better than John Elway. I think John Elway got a pass because his last 2 years in the league, he happened to pick up. They happened to get Terrell Davis that helped their running game, and that won him his Super Bowls. I think Marino was a much better quarterback, my opinion only. David Green, you have to start from inside out, both sides of the ball. Success always starts at the line of scrimmage. So is it about coaching? As that includes your philosophy on how you choose to build your team. What does he tell Dimitrov he needs? And remember, David, and it was made clear when Dan Quinn was hired. Dan Quinn is the last call on personnel. So for the last 4 years, Dan Quinn has built this team into what he has wanted. Maybe he thought he could coach these guys, and maybe, none of these guys are turning out to be what what he thought they were going to be. Sam, we need help. Still my Falcons, Lord, but what can we do to get better help? Change of philosophy. I hope Dan Quinn leaves here and goes out and becomes a great defensive coach. Shoot, hope he has a good coaching career. But that doesn't mean we don't need a change here. Right now, we just need to shake it up. My problem is Matt Ryan isn't his skills. My problem with Matt Ryan isn't his skill set, it's his mind frame. That's the most disappointing thing to me. He has a beta man mentality when he should have an alpha man mentality. I gotta disagree with you. What is it about Matt Ryan that y'all saying that he doesn't have an alpha male mentality? I don't understand that one.
Answer that. Now, see, that's something that I've been trying to tell people, and you and I have gone around.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Now, you're supposed to be the leader of this team. You're wearing that big gold seat.
Got it.
On right.
Got it.
So you're the captain of the team.
Got it.
You are the third person in line from the owner.
Got it.
Okay. When it comes time for you to take over the game,
got it,
and they ask you why you didn't, don't go talking about, well, I don't go against my coaches. Don't go deferring and talking about I don't do that. That's something I don't do. Every last one of the quarterbacks that you mentioned, Elway, Marino, all of them, they would not, I'm telling you, they would not accept a scenario, whether it be in a Super Bowl, whether it be in a championship or any other game, where they were ordered not to alter, where they were ordered to do certain things. Because on that field, you are the field general. That's your team once you get on the field, no matter what the offensive coordinator or what the head coach said. That's your team. And that perceived weakness of his, a character flaw of his, is what has a lot of people upset. I'm upset about it because, see, there's no way. That's one of the two things that I never want to hear out of a team or out of a coach. I don't want to hear out of a coach that I got out coached. Because if you tell me you got out coached, I need to fire you right now.
Now, hold on. Reel it back to Matt Ryan. I'm trying to get to the Matt Ryan thing.
But
that defines him as a beta. That defines him as a non-alpha male. That he's not gonna go against his coach. And I want to make sure that's your definition before I respond.
Yeah. Because see, the thing is that because this is the thing. If you are a rookie quarterback, you're a rookie quarterback just coming in, there are certain things that, the coach is going to tell you to do because, see, you're in a learning phase. You learn. You're trying to understand. You're trying to feel your way. You're trying to do things right so that you can please your coaches. All right? Okay. So that, you're making progress from being a rookie. But once you get 6, 7, 8, 9 years in the league, whether you're learning a new offense or not, there are certain fundamental things that you're supposed to do and that you're supposed to know from playing quarterback in high school, in college, in the street.
Yeah. You're not going against your coach in high school.
Yeah.
You're not going against your coach in college. Or you're going to be on the bench.
No.
Okay.
I'm not saying.
So I'm trying to keep it on the alpha male comment, because that's the part that's the part that I can't prescribe to, is that a man who has had, and if I'm mistaken, isn't Dirk Cutter number 6 offensive coordinator?
No.
Is this number 6?
Do you count Dirk Cutter twice?
Yeah, you count Dirk Curtis twice because he wasn't the same person in 2010. That wasn't the same Matt Ryan.
And do you count him twice calling plays out of the same playbook that Shanahan brought here that they are not changing? See, Ryan, he's not doing anything different. He's not doing anything different. It's the same playbook that Shanahan left here. Now, as far as being able to mix the plays up, that's one thing. But what I'm looking at is the execution of said plays. See, it's one thing to call a bad play and mess it up, but then it's something else to call a good play and mess it up.
So between you and Darius, and I'm trying to, because I'm being specific with Darius's comment, because he said his mind, and I'm sure that's what he meant. The most disappointing thing to me, he's a beta male mentality. I don't know. I'm watching the game, y'all, and I'm not seeing what y'all saying about him. So you're basically saying he's a passive, non-emotional, non-fired up, because okay, then somebody's gonna have to explain to me what alpha, but on the football field, because you got 50 alpha males.
You're saying, because see, I think you're trying to specify what alpha, the difference between an alpha and a beta.
Right.
Now, beta does not mean all the way the other way.
Right. Okay.
It's a notch down.
Right.
It's a notch down.
Right.
And see, Ryan is that notch down because of the fact that he defers.
Right.
You know, when it comes time for him to make the play, and sometimes it boils down to that quarterback making the play, the throw. Like, and a lot of things go into it. I admit it. A lot of things got to work right. But if you take a Matt Ryan versus, and I'm gonna put Aaron Rodgers up there,
right? Because
the thing was, do you remember those 2 straight Hail Mary passes?
Yes.
That Aaron Rodgers threw last year?
Yes.
And completed for touchdown?
Yes.
We do not ever see Matt Ryan doing anything of that.
Let me ask you a question. Who was Aaron Rodgers' offensive coordinator when he came in the league?
McCarthy.
Who was Aaron Rodgers' offensive coordinator last year before he got fired?
Del McCarthy.
Who was Tom Brady's offensive coordinator for the last, barring the 1 year he left? Who's been his coordinator for the last 13 years?
It's Josh.
Who is Peyton Manning's offensive coordinator for the majority of his years in Indianapolis? Mark Broda. So do you see where I'm going with this? Of course, there's going to be an amount of trust in a quarter and a deviation sometimes of what the play is. I know, we can argue the Super Bowl thing till we're blue in the face, and we have, because I'm equating the way you're placing it and the way from what I'm listening from Darius is an alpha male is somebody who's willing to, and this not made to be the complete definition. An alpha male in this football as a quarterback is somebody who's gonna do something off script to make this team better. Now, I'm not disagreeing that there may be times that you may have to say for this play or that play, I don't care what you said, coach, I'm going to do this. But maybe he's wired a little bit differently. I'm not sure if that defines you as an alpha male. there is something to me that
it's the wiring.
Yeah.
It is the wiring.
I'm going say this. I'm gonna go back to a couple of comments because people are agreeing with you, and I'm not afraid to say I have a different opinion of some people. Okay, Andre says, Steve, I've been saying that for weeks. With this team, there's no fire. We need a head buster anywhere on this team. No one who fires up the people. That is a must on a winning team. I understand. Ricky said Brady is who he is because he had Belichick and Josh Daniels for up 10 years. I was saying that. Daniel, Matt Ryan is not the reason the Falcons are losing. How about looking at the defense? David Green, I have to agree with your co-host in regards to Ryan in a once-in-a-lifetime moment where he knew that the call play was not the best play and you run it. He was a league MVP and chose to defer. Darius says, as far as, yes, it does. He's a beta male, and at times he has a scarcity mindset. It's the truth. He has the skill set to win, but not the heart. He keeps saying, run the damn ball in the Super Bowl. My thing is just do what you got to do to win. You the quarterback, you the leader. They're not gonna bench you. It's supposed to come with the territory, right? I guess I'm just gonna have agree to disagree, and I hear what y'all saying. And when y'all come back to February 2017, do I wish we went off script? Let me make that clear. Yes, absolutely for that moment. But I think that doesn't make you less of a alpha male because you choose to follow the script. We had somebody here from 2002 to 2007 who improvised greatly. And while I would beg to differ to you whether that person was an alpha male or not in his spot, I think he just happened to improvise because he didn't know any better. No, I don't want to hear it. And listen. Look, listen. I think I just, you know what it is. I don't disagree that maybe there are times that you have to say, you know what, that's a stupid play. Let me do what I need to do. I think what Matt is probably doing is just trying to be a good soldier. And if y'all and if any of y'all have been soldiers before, you know as well as I do, you do not deviate from the orders. You are given orders or people die, as said in First Few Good Men. And sometimes you do have to follow orders. Now, maybe Aaron Rodgers wouldn't have been a good military man, or Tom Brady, or Michael Vick, or Brett Favre. You're absolutely right. Those particular quarterbacks that you all are talking about and you are mentioning are not they are not the regular quarterbacks. Everyone I just named are uniquely elite. Uniquely elite. We don't have Tom Brady right now. I'm sorry. We don't. We don't have Aaron Rodgers. And in the league right now, when we start talking about elite, where everybody had a top 10 list a long time ago, now we're starting to see right now that there are only 2 or 3 legendaries. It may be Brady and Rodgers. 1 or 2 that might look that they're on the way. Mahomes, possibly Watson, if he gets himself together. And Russell is in the middle ground because Russell definitely is somebody that I look at and say, oh yeah, that's a tough cat. I think you know what it is. Matt Ryan has gotten so much drama over the last few years. And Jay, I was thinking about you so much today on a couple of those sacks. Keeping it real, half of those sacks today, and I hate that I'm agreeing with you on this. I hate it. But half of those sacks today, he was holding that ball too long. He had that ball in his hand, and I'm sitting up there, and I said, especially the first 2 sacks, both of those sacks, the first 2 sacks he had, he held it too long. And you could see him winding. He's like 1 progression, 2 progression, 3. And by the time you wind, they're already on you. And not that Dante Fowler didn't have a good game, but yeah, you're taking too long. I'm going to probably be a Matt Ryan apologist until he either leaves or whatever. And today was one of the first times, and probably the first time since the Detroit game a few years ago, where he got hurt, went to the locker room, and came back. I can appreciate, and this is where the alpha male definition to me becomes in. Matt Ryan has missed 2 games in 11 years. And to me, that's more alpha male than making a decision against a coach. Alpha male to me is somebody who sticks in there in the game, and somebody who has played tough, and somebody who's willing to get hit 8-10 times a game and keeps getting up. Today was one of the first. Matter of fact, today might be only the second time during a game that I saw Matt Ryan require somebody to come help him up. And I know when everything is going wrong, we're ready to give up on the Matt Ryan project and go to the next person and whatever. But Matt Ryan is the best quarterback you've had in this franchise. I don't think anybody's going to disagree with that, hands down. You're not. Do I think Matt Ryan needs major help? Absolutely. Do I think Matt Ryan is probably on the other side of the hill? Absolutely. But I don't like the unfair criticism of him when everything around him is crumbling as well. That offensive line is right now a hot mess. Will they get better? Maybe. But I saw something on here about his heart. And when I see, and it wasn't you, Darius, but I think I saw somebody else say about heart. And dude, when you get beat down like he got for the last couple of years, I'm sorry, man. I'm gonna play apologist for him. I'm sorry. And y'all can say what you want to say, but you know, it is what it is.
But I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this about it. Now, there's no doubt in my mind that Matt Ryan is tough. He's tough, and how did Barney Fife say? I'm wiry. And he's wiry,
right?
Because that 6'4", 210 pounds. I mean, it's just a wiry frame, and he has taken a lot of abuse.
Yeah.
But if the abuse is self-inflicted because of you not doing what you're supposed to do as a quarterback, holding the ball too long, staring at receivers, okay, somebody at work is always telling me this. When he first got here, he said that Matt Ryan is only going to run the play to where it's supposed to go, and he's not going to look anywhere else. And that's what he was doing.
That's not true. That's not true. If that's the case, Austin Hooper wouldn't have 40-plus catches.
I'm talking
Not,
about the beginning.
Okay.
All right. Okay. But he was doing it at the beginning of his career. All right.
But it's the beginning of his career.
Yeah. Yeah, the beginning of his career. But last year, Rodney Harrison in the New Orleans game that we played down there pointed out on numerous occasions where Matt Ryan was staring over at where it was he was getting ready to throw,
right,
and never turned his head.
Right.
The 2 interceptions to Luke Stocker this year were the same thing. And then I not only question Matt Ryan, I'm questioning the coaching staff. Why are you targeting a blocking tight end that you said that you would slating him to become a fullback? Why did you put that man in that position? So the thing is about this is that, okay, it's one thing to hang in the pocket to wait until somebody gets open and you complete the pass and you take a hell of a hit. Bam. But it's something else entirely for you to continue to stare at target and then when the pocket breaks down, and the pocket breaks down for everybody, no matter how good your offensive line have, the pocket breaks down for everybody. You got to get rid of the ball for your own self-preservation.
He definitely, it was 2 times early and 1 time late. I'm going to catch up with a couple of these comments. Ricky says, I'll say this, if Kyle Shanahan told Aaron Rodgers to throw the ball, Aaron would have stayed with the run. So I agree. Look, that is different. Andre says, look at Favre, who to me is the best quarterback ever in my eyes. He was an alpha, and him being an alpha made them lose as much as they win. You're absolutely on point. Michael said, oh, this is Mike's wife. An alpha male person is someone who, an alpha male person knows when to go against a coach's orders if he knows what the coach asks is wrong. If it fails, he takes responsibility, and that's not the place to blame on the whole team. An alpha knows when to make those calls. I am more an alpha than Matt is. Okay, all right then, Michael's wife. Okay, I hear you. I don't agree, but I hear you. I mean, I hear you. I do. Willie says, but sometimes you have to come off that script, Steve. Look, I'm listening to all y'all, and I think now more than ever, especially when you're losing, you definitely want to come off the script. I agree. The Super Bowl, the thing that everybody, I think, is the same offensive coordinator that y'all have been throwing these flowers and bouquets for and everything else made those calls in the Super Bowl. The same offensive coordinator that y'all sitting here with these Hallmark cards, sending long distance dedications and sending all these love bouquets to him, is the one who was making these calls. Now, from a Matt Ryan standpoint, that offensive coordinator was also the one that helped you get that MVP that year. The offensive coordinator was the one that was calling the plays to help you get there. As I've argued with John, and I'm going to argue with anybody else that wants to come up and try to debate me on this, you mean to tell me for 98% of the NFL season that you were the MVP, all of a sudden, in the end of the game, you're going to say for one call, oh, this is the man who got me 98% there, and I'm going to go against the grain this one time. The man who got you one step from there. Only thing I hate about that philosophy, y'all, is y'all acting like y'all can go back in time. You can't. He had to make that decision right there. And if the man, look, Atlanta Falcons were on a historic roll at that time. The last few games of the year, they were scoring points out the yin-yang. They destroyed a Seattle team that's supposed to have a great defense. They embarrassed Aaron Rodgers in the last game at the Georgia Dome. They had arguably the best quarterback in the NFL on the ropes 3 quarters into the game. Why all of a sudden would everybody now say, let me turn on the alpha switch and make a change for one play or one drive? All of a sudden, I'm going to make a change. I don't know, y'all. It's insanity. Hold that thought because I'm going to get through a couple of these things. Ricky, 1st and 10, ball on the 22-yard line 3 minutes ago. In the huddle, if I was Matt Ryan and Kyle called pass plays, Aaron Rodgers would have said, free Tico, no matter what you do, don't drop the football. 3 run plays. Belichick calls 3 timeouts. 4th and 4 at 18. Matt Bryan kicks the game-winning field goal. Game over. Ricky, we've gone through that several times. We all know that probably should have happened. We get that. Revisionist history is allowing us to go back and say that. Again, Matt is only being a good soldier. Anybody who knows, if I'm being a good soldier, I follow orders. I see your finger. You're going to hold tight. I see you. I'm sorry. I disagree with that. Yeah, I love how y'all like this. Y'all like this. And look, I want all y'all to disagree with me because I want to hear it. David, being a good soldier is great, but somebody has to take the lead. But the soldier is not the lead. He has a captain. He has an XO. He has a captain. He has a sergeant. The soldier does not go off script. The soldier follows orders. Being a good soldier, if everyone is a good soldier, then who's taking the lead? The quarterback is listening to the OC. If that's the case, then David, why have the OC? Why have the OC if you're the leader? Why have an offensive coordinator? If you know better, why have Kyle Shanahan there? I don't understand that. Willie said Drew Brees to Steve, a Hall of Famer with Brady and Rodgers. Will, it's time to draft a quarterback. I absolutely believe you do need to draft a quarterback. Stacey says ninja. Please. But Stacey, I'm sorry. I said, and again, everybody is acting like at the end of that game, you know what? I'm gonna let y'all have your comments. I got you. Jermaine says a Barney Fife reference. David, durability is great, but I think being a quiet leader is not what's needed. We need a vocal leader on the field. I don't disagree that there might be a change needed. I don't disagree with that. Rusty, Garoppolo was a payoff for that play in the Super Bowl. Let's be serious here. Yep, I agree. Montoya, Kyle, he said Garoppolo was the payoff for that play in the Super Bowl. In other words, get a chance to.
You said that wasn't Chauncey. You said that wasn't Chauncey.
No, that wasn't. Montoya, Kyle did have Matt a little more mobile. He did. Chalk. Yeah. Nah, because you're going to be long-winded. Hold on a second. Let me get through here. I'm going to let you add your point. Charles says Shanahan lost that game for us. Exactly, Charles. Exactly. Demetrius says, ever since Matt has been the quarterback, we've had a heart attack team. Yep, I agree. Charles said it made sense to change it. And again, I'm not arguing that you say you don't make the change, but I'm saying he went by what the man had told him. I love how if y'all at work and your boss tell you to do something, and y'all mean to tell me all of y'all are going to change what your boss has said and do something else. The difference is, man, Ryan making a lot more money than that coach. So he could probably get away with 1 or 2 plays. But for the most part, the coach is running the show. The coach is telling him what to do. If Matt goes off script, okay, and I hear what y'all saying, hold on to the ball. Let's say Matt makes that call, gives the ball to Devonta, and Devonta fumbles because everybody playing Monday morning quarterback about running 3 plays. What happens if he fumbles the ball? For all the geniuses out there now, what happens? Nobody knows what would have happened those 3 plays. Just like we didn't know Devonta wasn't going to block Dante Hightower from coming in there and strip sacking Matt. I don't want to hear what everybody talk about what would have happened then. Come on now. Look, I'm not. Darius says, long story short for me, Matt is too good of a quarterback and has too many weapons to be 1-6 right now. He needs to spaz out one time in a good way. I hear you, Darius, and I'm playing with y'all. Listen, as John said, I love disagreeing. And I'm going to stand by I'm standing by my convictions on this. I'm getting ready to give you your thing. Evan Michael, how you doing? You made that alpha switch change for the same reason that even all of the fans know what play to run to preserve the Super Bowl win. I hear you, Evan. I hear you. Disagree, but I hear you. Charles, this ain't the military, Steve. Matt, the leader of an offense. Why couldn't he put his 2 cents in? I only use the military reference to say there are people in charge of making those decisions. The decisions were made by the offensive coordinator. I understand that all of us know, including me. Let me make it clear. It was the wrong call to make. So, but I'm saying, y'all expected Matt just to say, oh, screw that. I'm going to go with the next play. Now, had Matt done that, maybe would have been marching down Peachtree in 3 days. We may have. But I'm not going to call Matt a less than alpha male because he doesn't want to make he doesn't want to make a play. He doesn't want to improvise. It's crazy. You saying everything I say in here all the time. Ricky, I get it. I understand what you're saying, but there has to be something that tells you it's time to make a change. And the Patriots were back in the game, only needing 1 score to tie the game, and the defense was on the ropes. This is the one time that you make a decision. Do you think that Kyle Shanahan, Dan Quinn, or Arthur Blank would have been mad at Matt for going against the grain if they won the Super Bowl? Of course not. Listen to what I'm saying clearly, y'all. I'm not saying I would have disagreed if he did change the play. I'm talking about the criticism of him not making the decision to change the play. The decision of him not making the change doesn't make him an alpha male or not. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. That doesn't. Yeah, I see you. Yeah, that wound from the Super Bowl won't be closed till we have a better season. You're right. Charles got about 5 more. Charles, the run still was the right call, whether he fumbled or not. No, you're missing. I'm not saying it was the wrong call. Damien, Dan should have overruled Kyle in that situation. Ricky, it was Shanahan's fault, but just as much Matt's fault. Steve, that was not the time for management. Huncho, does that mean Matt Ryan plays defense too? Good question, Huncho. It's about time we play not the players. Wait a minute. It's about how we play, not the players, the play calling too, because nobody could stop our plays in 2016. Ricky, I have to give you that, DJ Steve, because if Free would have made that block, Julio was wide open down the middle of the field and would have been the game-sealing touchdown. Miles, will you both explain how how you feel about the Devonta Freeman, Aaron Donald situation? We'll be back to that. We talked about it a couple of times before you came in, Miles. We're going to come back. Charles, I know what Matt was thinking. New England wasn't expecting them to run the ball, so they probably would catch them off guard. Michael, but if a CEO gives a wrong order and it's still going to kill his people, the NCOIC will not follow those orders, and he'll get an Article 15 for not following those orders. I hear what you're saying, and we hypothetical about killing people, but the NCOIC is supposed to follow the orders. You know that. I know that. We would have had a court martial about it, and you know that. Stop playing. I know what you're saying, and I get and for everybody, we're metaphorically talking about military and taking orders as far as that's concerned. I understand what you're saying. But I guess I'm just somebody that follow orders a lot of time. I do improvise and I do things, but for the most part, if my person ahead of me tells me to do something, I'm going to do it. I got a lot of mavericks out there, and more power to you. I hear you, but Damien says when Seattle lost that Super Bowl, when Wilson threw that interception, nobody blamed him for not changing that play. That's actually a really good point. Charles says to hell with Shanahan. Coleman, no, that's what's up. That's why he with Shanahan now. Andre, long story short, if Ryan was on New England and Brady was with us, it would be the same exact thing. I have held him caged up. Jay, it's all yours. I just wanted to get hey, Roger says give John a shot. Damn, Roger. Let me tell you what, Roger. Let me explain something to you. If y'all see somebody in a car that got his visor up and talking while he driving, that's him. He came on this forum. If I want to let his ass sit there and not say something, he ain't gonna say something. So, Roger, if you want to get on air and bring him in and let him talk what you want to say, you say it, Roger. But right now, I got the forum, and I started this piece. So if you want him on there, brother, you get your forum and let him come on your shot. That being said, go ahead. Now, let me tell you that ain't gonna be no audibles on here, because if I say I want them on, then I put them on. How about that, Roger? It got me bad up here. Go ahead, Jay. I'm sorry, man. Go ahead. Yeah.
Now,
go ahead.
Let's go back to the alpha male situation.
Okay.
Let's go back to that.
All right.
Now, I'm not saying, and I don't think anybody else is saying, that the Super Bowl non-decision or whatever was because he wasn't an alpha male.
Okay.
That was evidence of him not being an alpha male. That was just evidence.
Right.
And see, the thing is too, Steve, number one, alpha males would not accept orders as franchise quarterbacks telling them that they can't audible. That's my first thing.
Right.
You wouldn't accept nothing like that. Hold it. We're going to have a meeting, you know? And see, the thing is, we would have to have a meeting. We'd have to have a discussion. Look, man, I'm running this team out here. If I see where I need to make an audible, I'm going to make an audible.
Right.
Let him. You can let him know, or just do it, and then you all have some discussions at halftime or someplace like that. But see, that's what I was talking about the alpha male. You don't even accept no conditions like that in a Super Bowl.
I got it.
Number two,
and you're right, by the way. You're out. Listen, if I could go back with the pixie dust, I would tell Matt Ryan to run the ball 3 times. Don't get me wrong, y'all. I'm not stupid. Of course I would go back and do that. I'm saying for those who are blaming him, I'm trying to give you the reason why I think he didn't do it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. Now, second thing, he didn't even have to change the play.
That's true.
Ryan didn't even have to change the play.
Right.
You called 36 shotgun, West out 5. Go to Alex Mack. Tell Alex Mack himself, hike me the ball. I'm going under center.
Right.
Go in the center, take the ball, and fall down right there. You ain't got to get nobody else involved in that.
Right.
Because remember, Steve, the first play was a run out of the shotgun formation with Freeman that lost the yard. So you back to the 23. All right?
Right.
All you had to do is fall down 3 times. New England is burning timeouts. And then you put the real Matty Ice up to bat. That's all you got to do.
And the Matty Ice then was so hot that it wasn't even funny. He was killing it.
I still see the ball going over the upright. That ball in Oklahoma now. You know? The other point is that when the call was made over the headphones,
right,
both LeFleur and Ryan said, "Are you sure you want to do that?"
Right.
See, now a soldier, as you say, well, and I'm going to use your analogy, but it's not the same thing.
Right, of course not. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
But the thing is that soldier wouldn't have even said anything. Okay, let's go. Would have been that simple. Okay, let's go.
Right.
But Matt Ryan's football IQ,
right,
And you know, I'm really hating this. But at any rate, Matt Ryan made him ask a question.
That's true.
And now Dan Quinn on the headphone too.
Yeah. Could have said nope.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. You're right.
Yes.
You're right.
Yes. And see, that's where the alpha male take over your team, you're the franchise quarterback. Well, that's where all that comes in. Okay, that's where all that comes in. Because see, the thing is, if you are running the team on the field, look, if New England had called a time, okay, say for instance, and you absolutely right. We're going in the way back to Steve. Yeah. We're presuming, we speculate.
Right.
Now, there was going to be a heated discussion on the sideline during that timeout.
Right.
If Matt Ryan just does like I say he needs to do. If he just takes the ball under center, snaps the ball, falls down right there on the 23-yard line, timeout New England, or let the clock run. You know, you just wind that thing all the way down to 10 seconds. And then on top of that, why are we snapping the ball with from 13 to 19 freaking seconds left on the play clock? And see, now, hey, I understand completely, but those are the time. You only get certain moments. You only get a few certain moments, and you got to make that right decision against all odds. Going with, you know how old folks say, I should have went with my first mind.
Right.
Okay. When you question the call, your first mind was hollering in the top of your head. And that's where I am with it.
And I hear, I see people were coming in and they were coming in, and David said on the pass play, there are 5 things that could happen and 4 of them are bad. James, how you doing, brother, from Kentucky? What's going on? Rika says game over. Lisa says, y'all, I can't handle this Super Bowl 51 retrospective. We have problems right now. Here's the thing, Lisa, that and maybe you walked in on it, that and it didn't. The whole thing wasn't truly about the Super Bowl. The question was the alpha male part about Matt Ryan, and I think the easiest situation to go to when questioning that is what was that particular time when we had the ball inside the 30-yard line against New England. So the question was about his alpha maleness. So again, to steer off that and get on, because again, I said I was only going to be here till 8, but luckily everybody came in. So I'm glad y'all did, and thank you so much. But I am going to wrap it up with just the thought, and I know me and you will both be on during the week. And thanks again for coming in, and we still might have some more surprises for you. Thank y'all for calling in today. Had a lot of calls today. That's actually pretty cool. That's a pretty cool thing. We come a long way, Jay. So, when we come on next week, we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna have the same calls. We're gonna do that. But I want you to get the last word in. What do you think happens in the next 24 hours up at Flowery Branch with this team? Tell me what do you think?
Steve, I can't really say. I can't really say. I just have this feeling. That all the movement is going to take place in the bye week.
Think so?
I just feel that all this movement is going to take place in the bye week. Because see, if this was a nail in the coffin, then the last stroke put the nail in the coffin, I think there's a sealing move that's coming. And see, if he loses next week, that seals it. That really seals it. And see, now the bye week is the perfect opportunity for this to take place. Now, the problem with it, Steve, is that you're still going to lose a majority of the next 8 games, regardless of who comes here, because you got the ship is over here. The ship is listed. You got to bring the ship back before you start trying to sell. You got to upright the ship before you start sailing. And 1 game, 2 games, 3 games, not going to do it.
Right.
It's not going to do it.
Right.
So whoever is, and I hate to use this word, whoever is cursed to coach this team for the rest of the year, hold on, ladies and gentlemen, Falcons fans, it's going to be rough. It's going to be a rough. And then it's going to be rough for the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Because you won't know what kind of team you're going to have.
I absolutely concur with what you say. The only thing I disagree with, listen, I understand I'm looking at people saying Quinn's still coaching. Andre says, I love my team. Michael says crickets. Quantrellis, I hope that's right. Nothing is going to happen. Johnny says, if Matt Schaub is going to start. Lisa said, we haven't even played our division yet. Jermaine, I couldn't even depend on Hooper's fantasy numbers today. David says, see y'all next week. Listen, I'm surprised we didn't make it to 9 o'clock with him getting fired. I'm trying to tell y'all, the atmosphere in that stadium was so horrible, so sad, so depressing, so mundane. Just every sad thing you can put out there, I think it was. In closing, I'm surprised that we did make a move now, and I think if he doesn't make a move before tomorrow, I sincerely think he will be gone this week. There's no way we can go into the second half of the season with 5 straight division games coming off of the bye, including the first game being a trip down to our favorite place in Louisiana. It's no way you can go into the second half of the season with the mentality that we have right now. I agree with a lot of people. I think we do have pockets of talent. I think we just need somebody here with a different mindset. And the mindset going right now with not only with the fans, just the whole, I see Falcon fans out there, and y'all want to just wrap your arms around this team if we have a winning product. And right now we don't have a winning product. So my thought is, I still think we should make the move now. There's no reason to wait for me. I do agree with you, Jay. I think we'll make the move during the bye week. The brotherhood is over. Brotherhood, you're right, Anthony. The brotherhood is over, and I truly think we need a change. Willie, I was saying we do have talent, Willie. I'm not saying we don't have talent, but we need somebody else to focus the talent, to get the talent focused and move us in the right direction. For the most part, this is 60 to 70% of the team that went to the playoffs 2 years in a row and won three playoff games. Think about it. If you're not New England, how many teams can you say won 3 playoff games in 2 years aside of New England? It's not a lot. So do we have to regroup? Yes. Do we have to look forward to life with a new coach? I believe we are. So again, this is after the game. A lot of raw feelings. I appreciate everybody coming on today. Thank you, Jay, for finally waking up and not going to sleep and actually making it in with us. We appreciate it. And look, that bottle has probably sipped. I think it started up there. That bottle was close to the neck at the beginning of the game. Look, thank y'all again. Y'all gonna see me and Jay, I'm sure, on the platform probably tomorrow. I know I'll be on probably tomorrow evening. Thank y'all for joining us. We appreciate it. Listen, it's gonna be some rough times. At least let's talk about it together. We'll see y'all later on. Y'all be good. Peace. It's been a long time. Y'all be good. Thanks a lot. Have a good night.
All right.
All right. Ooh.